I did everything right and they indicted me.
And I don't know what the I'm doing.
Antifa!
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Katie Halper Show. We are so thrilled to be here with you. We have a great lineup for you today. We have a bunch of segments. It's going to be great. We're going to talk to some people who we've never talked to. We have some new guests and we have some repeat guests. And it's always great to hang on a Tuesday night with you guys. Please do, if you haven't already, support this show by giving it a thumbs up. Literally just giving it a like. That helps the algorithmic suppression. Well, helps fight back against the algorithmic suppression. Also, please do become Patreon supporters at patreon.com/The Katie Halper Show. Again, that's patreon.com/The Katie Halper Show. If you can do $5 a month, you get access to bonus content, extended interviews, early release. You get, for instance, the full interview that I did with John Mearsheimer and Yanis Varoufakis, which is quite excellent. Also, do please subscribe so you don't miss any streams. And to do that, you hit subscribe and then you press the bell, because we do these extra streams. We do them Fridays at 12 usually, but sometimes we do it at a different time. So you definitely don't want to miss those. Also, if you're more into YouTube than Patreon and you want bonus content, extended interviews and stuff like that, you can also become YouTube members. And to do that, you hit subscribe and then join. Right, Brad? We're going to have to do a tutorial on this to make sure that people do that. Yeah, and if you can't do that, you can't support on that level of like $5 a month, but you still want to make sure the show happens, you can do that. Don't worry, you can do that. You can become Patreon supporters at the $1 a month level. That's literally $12 a month. $12 a year. $12 a year, literally. And you can just support the show, and that's pretty affordable. Okay, so I'm going to give everyone a heads up about what we are talking about on the show today. Our last segment, the latest segment in the show, so our third segment will be a very funny one with the lovely hosts of Bad Hasbara, the Most Moral Pod. Bad Hasbara is a great show. It is hosted by Daniel Mate and Matt Lieb. They'll be joining. Before that, we'll be speaking to Dr. Thayer Ahmad about Dr. Abu Safiya, who is being held as we speak. He was kidnapped. He's being tortured by Israel. We're going to be talking about that. It's an extremely important case, and we've covered it before. We've had on Dr. Ahmad before, and it is a stain on the entire medical community, the fact that he is not a household name and the fact that there isn't more pressure on Israel to release this man whose only crime was literally being a doctor who happens to be Palestinian. That's his crime. Also, it's worth noting that he could have left. He's married to a woman who has is from one of the stands, Tajikistan maybe, and so he has dual citizenship. He could have easily left, and he stayed to help his people. And but our first segment is also related to the crimes of Israel, and that is a segment that we're doing with Cory Archibald, who we're bringing back on from AIPAC Tracker, and also her co-founder, Casey Kennedy. Now, before we start the show, I do want to say that something we're not going to be talking about, there's a fly, gross. Something we're not going to be talking about on this episode is the Graham Plattner story, because I have a lot of thoughts on it. I never actually endorsed or condemned. I thought there was a lot to look into, and I didn't get to it. I was more kind of excited and focused on other candidates like Abdul El-Sayed, who we're going to be talking about today. So I don't have to do this big kind of response right now, but I will be doing a response to what happened, because I'm someone who obviously follows politics and I think people are curious. But in terms of like where this show came down, we didn't actually do anything on it. We didn't do an endorsement. We don't really do endorsements, but I didn't like push him or interview him or talk him up. And I will say, though, that we will be discussing that on the show Friday, just because I think there are a lot of really important questions relating to Me Too, relating to foreign policy, relating to double standards, hypocrisy. You know, some of the worst people in the world right now are tweeting about this. I mean, anything that ever comes out of Neera Tanden's mouth or her fingers on Twitter is vile and dishonest, but she's really like upping her game. I'm very impressed. But again, we will talk about that on Friday. I don't want people to think I'm ignoring it, but I also want to make sure that people know that the focus of this show is going to be on Abdul El-Sayed. Okay, so I think without further ado, we're going to bring on our first guests, and I'm very excited to be bringing them onto the show. We're bringing back Cory Archibald, co-founder of AIPAC Tracker, the popular watchdog dragging AIPAC's receipts into light and pressuring lawmakers to change course on Israel policy. She's a longtime progressive political strategist and fundraiser who has advised over 250 candidates for federal and state office. For 6 years, she led Brand New Congress and was part of the team that helped launch Justice Democrats and elect progressive members of Congress like Cori Bush and Jamal Bowman, obviously targeted by AIPAC. And bringing onto the show, making his Katie Halper Show debut, Casey Kennedy, co-founder of AIPAC Tracker. It's a professional background in digital marketing, specializing in audience and brand development. He has spearheaded digital efforts for candidates across the political landscape, from local offices to congressional races, honing his ability to cut through the noise and build out grassroots networks. He is the creative force behind the viral red and black graphics that have helped highlight the negative influence of AIPAC and the Israel lobby in American politics. So welcome back, Cory, and welcome on for the first time, Casey. Hi, guys.
Hey there. Thanks so much for having us.
Yeah, it's so good to be back.
Yes, thank you. It was really wonderful talking to you, Cory, and I'm glad that we have this other opportunity. I wanted to make sure that people who didn't see the episode that we already did with you, Cory, I want to make sure they get this information. Of course, Casey, you haven't been on, so I wanted to know how did each of you get involved in this? How did you guys meet? How did AIPAC Tracker get born?
Yeah. So I kind of started learning about Israel and Palestine on my own around 2020 is when I first started doing some reading, watching documentaries, and just kind of learning about this ongoing conflict and genocide. And it was something that was very alarming to me at the time. And especially as I started kind of digging into what AIPAC was and realizing that there was this vast ecosystem of influence, basically pushing a foreign government's agenda in our government, was very alarming to me. And whenever I talked to other people about it, I felt like they didn't really grasp what I was talking about or how serious the implications really are. And so that was just something that always stuck in the back of my mind. And then fast forward a few years, after October 7th, we start seeing this live stream genocide on our phones every day. And this kind of came back to the front of my mind because I'm seeing, now it's much more part of the discourse. Israel and Palestine policy was much more part of the discourse, but I still felt like there was a disconnect between what's happening and why our lawmakers were so okay with being complicit in this and continuing to toe that line. And so I just started doing some research on, where the dollar's moving around, and is this an effective means to kind of highlight this network? And so that's when I started posting the receipts. I just started a Twitter account and posted the receipts, and it took off like wildfire. So that was back in April of 2024. Within a month, we had 100,000 followers, and I immediately realized, I was working in professional marketing at the time, and you just don't see that sort of like organic, rapid growth. That's something powerful, and you can do something with that. Around that time, after that first month, is actually when I got introduced to Cory, because she was working on something similar, and we had a mutual connection, and we found out that we were working on kind of the same project but from different angles. And so we met and talked it out and decided to merge our efforts and take it from there. So Cory, if you want to kind of jump in on your side.
Yeah, totally. So as Casey said, around the same time that he was starting up the Twitter account, which has now grown across multiple platforms and massively exploded in audience growth, I was starting a PAC. My background is in PACs and electoral work. I got my start with Brand New Congress 9 years ago. I was, started off as a volunteer, and just helping out with writing the fundraising emails and helping out with other kinds of comms work, and then was asked to take over as chair of the board, and led Brand New Congress for 6 years. And then, through that also helped with the team that helped launch Justice Democrats. And then somewhere in that cycle, also pivoted into doing political consulting work full time. And it was through my work with Brand New Congress that I got to be familiar with what AIPAC is doing in our Democratic primaries in particular. Really, I started to notice in the 2022 cycle. I barely knew who AIPAC was. I knew what the name was. I didn't really understand the political force that they played, but I saw that they just dropped in with a whole bunch of money against Nida Alam in her race, and then Erica Smith in her race, both in the same cycle. And then a few months later, they went in all in on against Andy Levin to install Haley Stevens in the congressional seat that she is currently vacating to run for Senate. And so I have like longstanding beef with Haley Stevens that I'm looking to settle this year, which is why I'm really excited to be talking about this today. But it was because of that. And then, of course, like Casey, when the genocide began, watching what was unfolding and feeling just horrified and knowing that these political forces were acting behind the scenes and were playing such a big role in why our lawmakers were just accepting and facilitating this. I got really mad, especially when I started to go after Jamal Bowman and Cory Bush. It pissed me off because I worked really hard to put both of them into office, especially Cory. And so I started the PAC to basically run straight at AIPAC. I wanted to make AIPAC as politically toxic. I wanted as politically toxic as the NRA, if not more. Right. And then, like I said, that's when Casey and I got introduced, and we're like, yeah, this is the same project. We both have the same goal. We have the same project in mind. We're just coming at it from different angles, and so it was a natural fit. And it's been really great.
So it's a PAC, AIPAC. I mean, sorry, AIPAC Tracker / Track AIPAC is a PAC.
So Track AIPAC is the name of the data transparency project.
Okay.
But the PAC name is Citizens Against AIPAC Corruption. And so that's what we, people refer to it as our political arm. Like it is all the same thing. It's just that the project of the data reporting and the social media engagement is what we call Track AIPAC.
Okay, great. And so what does the PAC do?
Well, the PAC does what all PACs do. We spend money on elections. We support candidates. We message on the issues. We've done some independent expenditures this cycle. We've endorsed over 130, might be over 140 by this point, candidates this cycle, and have notched up a fair number of primary wins with still more to come. And so, we're really excited about putting as many anti-genocide candidates as possible into Congress. We got this freshman class coming into Congress is very, very exciting. And I think that there's for multiple reasons, not just for this issue, but definitely for the number of people who had made our relationship with Israel and the genocide a central focus of their campaign. I think it's really going to be a wake-up call in the dialogue on the floor of the House next year. Great.
So tell us about, we're going to be talking about this Michigan race because it's so important for many reasons. But tell us a little bit about the background because, it's interesting that Haley Stevens herself is someone who, as you pointed out, defeated Andy Levin. Now, Haley Stevens, just so people know, she is in the Democratic primary in Michigan. Right now, it's between Abdul El-Sayed, who you endorse and who's been on this show, and Michigan Congresswoman Haley Stevens. So what happened is very recently, Mallory McMorrow dropped out. So now you just have these two left. Tell us about before we get into Abdul El-Sayed, tell us more about Haley Stevens and her political trajectory.
Yeah. Well, Casey, do you want to start? Or you want me to start?
You go for it. I know you've got a personal.
I do. I have a grudge to settle there. I'm so angry still about the way that they attacked Andy Levin to put her into office. But she has been not just on this issue, but just across the board. And this is true of a lot of the very heavily AIPAC favored Democrats. She has one of the most conservative voting records, and she has consistently voted for, for ICE, and I think she signed the ICE thank you card. She, good job, guys, way to go, scooping up all these people. She's got a terrible record, and she prides herself on that, and the energy that she's bringing into this Senate race is really, she has tripled down on her focus, on her dedication to Israel. I mean, there's that clip I'm sure that you have queued up that you want to play that Casey's been circulating heavily. But
yeah, let's actually show this clip. And by the way, someone has a ding that's going off that my ADHD is making it hard for me to block out. So
I am trying to figure it out. I'm sorry. I think
okay, no worries. You maybe you want to shut off the phone or something, but
I got it.
Great. Yay, thank you. Okay, you see, we always take down that fourth wall at this show. But let's take a listen to something that Casey Stevens actually said, not in shtick, not in character. And I do have to point out, I'm trying to figure out whether I should say this before we watch it or after, but she's not Jewish. Okay, and I'll tell you why I find that noteworthy. But let's just take a look.
I will continue to fight for the people of Israel. I will continue to fight for Israel's existence. Israel comes to me in my dreams. I see Israel's future, and I know that Israel will continue to exist for the Jewish people.
Okay, so I have to say this. Like, I don't make any excuses for anyone who thinks that Israel is a dream-worthy place. I mean, Israel comes to me in my dreams when I have nightmares about what Israel's doing, right? But like, there are a lot of people who have been brainwashed, and a lot of, we all know them, like PEP's progressive except on Palestine. I'm not excusing it at all. Like, I want to be very clear. I don't think it's okay for Jewish people to be pro-genocide. But to hear a non-Jew say that Israel comes to them in their dreams, that's just like crazy talk, like on a different level. Is she like actually a Christian Zionist?
I mean, I don't know if she describes herself that way, but she certainly fits the bill.
Yeah. It's hilarious. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, she's absolutely led the charge, or helped lead the charge in Congress to, push all of these heinous bills. She voted originally against the Lebanon War Powers Resolution the beginning of last month. She did vote against it the second time, but like, what are you doing? She's voted again and again for unconditional military aid. She denies Israel's war crimes. Yeah, perfect. Here's a great summary.
She's from the wonderful Prem Thacker.
Yeah, exactly what AIPAC wants her to do all along the way, and that's why you're now seeing them dump millions and millions of dollars each week now into this race. She's up to over $10 million in spending from AIPAC so far, and that's just from AIPAC that we've been able to identify. There's another group in this race, this Center for Democratic Priorities, which is a shadowy nonprofit group. We don't know who is funding that yet. We won't know, I believe, until after the election. And that's just, a prime example of exactly how the Israel lobby is now having to operate, because these policies are not flying under the radar anymore. People are absolutely fed up with this type of politics where people are beholden to foreign interests, and, it's very transparent. We can see right through it. So right. I think a reckoning is coming. And I think that really, that's really highlighted in this race in particular, because you saw Mallory McMorrow kind of try to thread the needle.
Right.
She tried originally to kind of court the progressive vote. She said it was a genocide, then she kind of walked that back. And then she attacked Abdul for campaigning with Hasan Piker and went through the whole Islamophobic gambit. Just really gross stuff. And that absolutely cratered her campaign. I hope that others will see that is people are not going to buy into this politics of kind of wishy-washy, not having a strong stand. People want fighters who are going to stand up to this absolutely wildly corrupt status quo. And now you've got that very clear contrast in this race in Michigan. Yeah,
I mean, when your red line is Hasan Piker and not genocide, I think that's kind of
you're telling yourself.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Yeah, I don't care. Like, you don't have to love Hasan Piker, whatever. Like, I mean, you can like him, whatever you want. But the fact that is disqualifying, and
basing your political opinions off of what a Twitch streamer says about a politician. Like, you should be caring about the politician's policy and what they're voting for.
Right. And so the idea that that's more important. I mean, it's obvious that it's because people like Shannon Watts or whomever, like, don't want to say out loud, either I don't care about genocide or I'm actually for genocide. So instead they pretend that they have this moral, like, obligation and duty to take a brave stand against Hasan Piker. Like, come on, right? It's just so pathetic. And as you said, people are seeing through it. I mean, increasingly seeing through it. And the irony is that I think, like you said, Mallory was trying to, I don't know why I call her like that, like I'm on first name basis with her. Mallory McMorrow was trying to be that in that middle path, that third way, if you will. And it backfired. It didn't help her, right? She thought it was, I think, politically expedient to do it. And I think what you wind up doing is you just look like you don't satisfy either side.
Well, there's an important distinction I want to make on that specifically, and that is that for a time it kind of was working. There was enough people in the social dialogue that were saying like, yeah, I really like Abdul and more about his policies, but if we get Mallory, she's not so bad.
Right.
I heard a lot of that early on, and it really was not until she decided to go full-throated attacking the campaigning alongside Hasan Piker, which again, like you said, love him, hate him,
whatever,
be agnostic about him, whatever. She made a decision to disingenuously conflate him and falsely conflate him with Nick Fuentes.
Yeah, exactly.
An actual like neo-Nazi white supremacist.
Right.
And then she doubled down on that later, and she launched this like whole series of frankly racist attacks against Abdul El-Sayed. And that is the thing that really cratered her support. And I want that to be a very important lesson to Democrats that are out there who are Democrats and Democratic boosters, Democratic influencers, commentators, any voters, anybody who is trying to get something done in our electoral space on behalf of the Democrats. I want you to take notice that we are not going to be okay with normalizing Islamophobia and anti-Muslim hatred and racism anymore. Like, that is every bit as vile as any other form of racism that we allegedly oppose. And that has to be condemned and called out every single time because it is so normalized. And there's been so much of it in this race. And Abdul El-Sayed is just, he is a saint for the way he has handled it, because he just handles it with so much grace. And I can't imagine. I mean, Casey and I both get like people yelling at us and calling us dumb names and whatever, but nothing like what is thrown at him. And to be attacked for his identity in the ways that he has, it's so gross. And it has to be condemned and absolutely just kicked the hell out.
Yeah.
It has no space in our movement.
I agree. And let's show that Prem Tucker screenshot again, Brad, please, so we can, in case people were not reading it or just listening. So here is what Haley Stevens voted for. She voted to stop the Lebanon War Powers Resolution, send Israel $26 billion more in aid after it killed 34,000 plus people, send Israel another $17.6 billion in aid, a failed bill Biden would have vetoed, ban the State Department from citing Gaza Ministry of Health death tolls, sanction ICC officials as they sought justice against Israeli war criminals, expressed disgust at South Africa's suit accusing Israel of genocide, and praised Biden's spokesperson John Kirby, calling the case meritless, counterproductive, and completely without basis in fact whatsoever. Parentheses, Israel had already killed 25,000 plus people at this point, and parentheses, express gratitude for ICE, that's in quotes, gratitude for ICE, and force through the TikTok sale or ban it in the US if it wasn't sold. So that is a summary. Now, and I think it's important also because she's a lot of times what happens is that people like Abdul El-Sayed, and this happens to Rashida Tlaib also, they get kind of pigeonholed. Now, I want to be clear. It's not like Gaza is not important to them, but they're also more than Gaza, right? I think that like Gaza is, it is a litmus test because it is the moral issue of our time. It is a genocide unfolding, right? But they're also great on other issues. And those, no one ever talks about how great Rashida Tlaib is on her constituency services, right? And like environmental racism and racial justice when it comes to, Black people in Michigan. So I think it's really important to point that out. And so obviously Haley Stevens is bad on a lot of foreign policy stuff, but she's also terrible on like Medicare for all. You know, she's a total centrist, like a radical centrist. So what else do we need to know that wasn't covered in that list? Anything that we need to make sure that people know about, or was that exhaustive enough?
I mean, that's a pretty comprehensive list. I don't know if you have any other.
Only one that comes to top of my mind that I didn't see on the list was she voted for the Anti-Semitism Awareness Act, which is to codify the IHRA definition of anti-Semitism to make it, you know, a hate crime to criticize Israel.
So ridiculous. Yeah. One other ADHD thing. I think one of you, if you could lower the volume, Brad, do you know who's I'm hearing that from? I don't know if it's Casey or Cory, but I hear an echo.
Okay, I will keep an ear out for it.
Okay, you can. Okay, great, thank you. Okay, so let's see. Now let's take a look at, and again, here's another ironic thing. You have people who are like mad at Abdul El-Sayed for criticizing Haley Stevens, and someone like this Mandel guy, you know, that guy, I think Seth Mandel, whose wife is that terrible woman who like Brianna Joy Gray totally exposed, asking her what woke meant. She wrote like a whole book on woke and she couldn't answer it. She's like, well, you're putting me on the spot. And Bree's like, take your time. And she still can answer it. Anyway, he's like, what an anti-Semitic thing to call her like an empty suit beholden to like money. It's like, she's not Jewish, dude. Like, you can save your, like, we all know you weaponize anti-Semitism and you actually are ultimately contributing to it because no one takes it seriously on those times when it is anti-Semitism. Like when someone blows up, you know, a synagogue, people are going to be dismissing that, because it's just constantly, you know, what's anti-Zionism is constantly described as anti-Semitism. But I just think it's rich that you have stuff like this happening, and she's not even Jewish. And then, as you pointed out, Andy Levin, he's Jewish, right? Like she and AIPAC both went after him.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's I actually missed the somebody calling that anti-Semitic. What I picked up on were a lot of people that were complaining that that was misogynistic.
Oh,
to make a comment about her, which is also absurd, and that pissed me off. I made some comments about how we're not going to do anti-Muslim hatred cloaked in weaponized feminism.
Exactly.
Like, we're not
so gross. Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Like, yeah, basically it's like, let's do the Bernie bro narrative, but ratchet it up by making it racist, right? Like, you know, like, we can do two birds that like that. We're going to weaponize identity politics. And while we're doing it, like, be totally orientalizing and imply that like this brown man is a savage beast who doesn't know how to respect women. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. We see right through that Emily's list. Like, do better. Oh my God. I can't even. Yeah. Okay. So sorry about that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't even remember. I got so angry. I forgot the point we were making. We were talking about Haley Stevens. Oh, the anti-Sem. Oh, yes. Oh, they came out with an ad saying he has issues with women.
Right.
It's an AIPAC, like,
which actually ended up getting flagged by, I think it was Detroit Metro Times. One of the local newspapers ended up flagging it as, you know, like factually inaccurate, like really stretching the facts. And the fact that's all they have to run on at this point. It seems like they're trying to paint him as a misogynist. And
yeah.
I don't know
Innuendo,
how you come away with that take after, you know, you see him campaign. He's there's absolutely no basis for it, and it really is just vaguely gesturing in the direction of the fact that he is a Muslim man, and so therefore he must be anti-woman. It's so racist and disgusting, and counterfactual, and every woman out there who is perpetuating that narrative right now really needs to take a hard look in the mirror and say, what are you doing?
Well, they probably know what they're doing, right? They're, I mean, anyone who would do that. I mean, I guess maybe there's some people who are duped and in good faith or think that it's sincere. It's not. It's totally disingenuous. If you cared about women, I mean, you maybe would care about the women who are, you know, forced to undergo like C-sections without anesthetics in Gaza, or you care that they're being, you know, brutalized as we speak. So just spare us this thing. It's like if the words that this guy uses, and you know, the irony, it's not even like I'm asking people to overlook some problematic language that he uses because Gaza is more important. Like, show me what he said that's sexist. Like, he's running against people. He's allowed to criticize them. he hasn't said anything remotely like misogynistic. So again, do better, guys who are doing this. And if you want to do this again, fine, but you're really like cheapening the whole sexism. Kind of like what they're doing to anti-Semitism, honestly, in a similar way.
Really are.
Yeah. It's like no one's going to take it seriously when it actually is there. So tell us now about Abdul El-Sayed.
Well, I mean, he has been, to your point about how he is not just the anti-genocide candidate. He is a lot more than this issue. I would say that his principal issue and the thing that he should be best known for is his work in public health care and as a champion of universal health care and fighting for Medicare for all. That's the thing that drew me to him when he first ran for office, several years ago. So I've been following and supporting him ever since then. And his work as a public health official it's clear what his achievements are. He's been consistent in his values in that regard, and he's consistent in his humanitarian values that he expresses in all of his policies. I mean, he's just projecting and living and exhibiting all of the things that we want to see from a senator, somebody who's going to go there and not just punch the clock and say I'm a reliable Democratic vote, but actually going to get on the House or on the Senate floor and forcefully advocate for these issues. That's what we need. We need people speaking out forcefully for these issues instead of just waiting to show up for the vote that's going to go this way or that way.
Right. Yeah. He also wrote a book called Medicare for All: A Citizen's Guide.
Yes, in case he's got it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There you go. Yeah. And I thought, Casey, anything you want to add? I wanted to show a video of him, but I certainly want to give you.
I would just say, he's been so consistent throughout his career. Who he is now is who he's always been, fighting for everyday people to have access to healthcare. I think that's really like the central plank of his campaign. Healthcare and get big money out of politics, and that's a winning message right now.
Well, let's contrast Haley Stevens saying that Israel comes to her in her dreams with a question that a lot of people get asked. Let me rephrase this. Anyone who dares to defend Palestinians gets asked this question. Let's take a look at Abdul on CNN.
And have to put up with.
Obviously, AIPAC is a big part of this conversation because Israel has become a very central topic, especially inside the Democratic Party, but nationally as well. Do you believe Israel has a right to exist?
So, Casey, AIPAC's become a big issue in this election because AIPAC's already spent $30 million in this election. They're by far the biggest spender in the race. Now, the question about a right to exist, it's interesting because nobody's ever asked me whether or not I believe Palestine has a right to exist. Every single president who served has said that they believe in a two-state solution. Israel exists. The question is whether or not we want a politics where our money is sent over to Israel to do genocide and apartheid instead of investing in our own kids.
You say it exists, but does it have a right to?
No, I didn't say that. I just said the question of Israel's existence is not a question. I'm not going to play this gotcha game about whether or not it has a right to exist. The question ultimately is about whether or not we want a politics that dignifies.
You're not going to play the gotcha game, but you're not going to say you think Israel has a right to exist.
Well, my question.
Why is that inconsistent?
So she admits it's a gotcha game.
Yeah, exactly.
Does everybody have equal rights to peace, dignity, and self-determination? That's Jewish, Israelis, and Palestinians. And to me, the folks who should answer what the ultimate peace there looks like should be Jewish, Israelis, and Palestinians. I want my tax dollars spent here in Michigan to provide schools in Michigan, to build healthcare in Michigan, to invest in Michigan, rather than to be sent abroad to kill Palestinian people, do genocides and apartheid. The question about whether or not Israel has a right to exist is actually quite secondary to whether or not they have a right to our tax dollars. And people don't ask that question in good faith. So if you want to ask me about Palestinian right to exist, if you want to ask me about what I want to do for kids in Michigan, I'm happy to answer that question. But the AIPAC and Israel have become secondary questions that too many people have to talk about because our tax dollars keep getting spent over there rather than being spent over here.
Yeah, pretty good. I would say pretty good response, right?
Candidates should study that clip. That was
seriously
example. He highlights the absurdity of how that question is constantly used as a cudgel against anybody who takes a stand for human rights, and totally flips it on its head. And the reason that we're talking about this is because we're funding it. That's
right.
Really
exactly right. And the fact that Israel has the right? Do other countries have the right to exist? Like, is this a question that other countries should be asked? Where's this? I mean, yeah.
Well, you know who doesn't think that countries inherently have a right to exist? The founding fathers. They wrote,
right.
They wrote our Declaration of Independence and said essentially that when every once in a while people should disband the political bands that hold them together if their government is not upholding their universal human rights.
Right.
And so, like countries as political entities, no country has an unshakable right to exist. It is up to the people that live in that place to decide how they want to be governed. That is like one of the founding principles of America. And I think it's pretty weird that everyone like wants to demand that we answer that question in particular, but they're ignoring this like foundational part of American history.
Yeah. I mean, I have to look into this when this started as a talking point, because it definitely has became a talking point, and it's very smart because it kind of taps into like human rights and liberal language, and you kind of have to stop and be like, wait, rights? Like, actually, countries don't have a right to exist. Like, people have the right to exist, and the irony is that people who are talking about countries' rights to exist, they seem to be fine with the attempt to white people out of existence. Right?
Yeah,
like
well, the whole premise of the question is designed to automatically pigeonhole you into a defensive posture.
Yes, exactly.
And that's, I mean, the best way to
and you can see exactly like what is the motive of the people that are asking that question. As soon as you flip it to say, like, do Palestinian children have a right not to be blown up?
Exactly. Right.
Do Palestinian mothers and fathers have a right to like not fear for their children's lives or to want to live full lives themselves? Like the minute you turn it on that front, they get very upset.
Right. Like, yeah, exactly. When you talk about the rights that actually exist, right? Like human rights or things that exist in international or should humanitarian law, then they're less interested. It's a similar thing with self-defense. Like Israel's self-defense is always being invoked. And even when it's not at all self-defense, what they're doing, not remotely. And yet I think we talked about this on my other show, Useful Idiots, which is that when it was Matt Miller was asked by Said Erekat, the great Palestinian journalist, he was asked about Palestinians' right to resist. Do Palestinians have the right to self-defense? Yes, right. And he wouldn't say, like, because he can't, because he knows.
Again, you're telling on yourself.
Exactly, right. Yeah, that should be. Why isn't that a straightforward answer? Why does only one side of this conflict, which we know is not a conflict because that suggests a lot of parity that isn't there. I want to show another, I think, great moment of Abdul El-Sayed responding to this gotcha. This is from a couple months ago, but trigger warning, he's next to Hasan Piker. So,
oh, God.
Yeah.
Follow up on the answer you just gave there. How is that not an equivocation? Because
this is Olivia. I think this is Olivia Reingold, right?
It's Olivia Reingold.
Free Press.
She's
okay.
the worst.
She's so bad. Okay.
The logic, if you extend the logic there, that would be like if after October 7th, someone went to a mosque and was upset, did something awful there. How is that logic? How does that not translate?
Well, after October 7th, there was a whole genocide against Palestinians.
Oh, and by the way, to set this up, this was because he made, I think, a very, point that's maybe uncomfortable, but if people care about anti-Semitism, they should care about this. This was after an attempted attack on a synagogue that was perpetuated by someone Lebanese whose family had been killed by Israel, right? Mm-hmm. And he made the point, basically, like he's talked about how there's going to be blowback, which obviously there is going to be blowback. Anyone honest admits this, and which is what makes it so dangerous when Israel constantly says that it is the nation of Jews and represents all Jews. Now, right. Abdul was very clear he was not condoning this. But if you want to understand why things happen, I think it's important to look at how Israel's actions will have blowback. So this is what she's referring to, and she's basically accusing him of like condoning it. Okay.
They blew up a lot of mosques in Gaza. I don't know if Free Press reported on that. Sorry.
So no, I just look at the end of the day, we can play this rhetorical game where we pretend that all actions stand on their own without a context, or we can try and have an adult conversation about context that exists in the world. Because at the end of the day, we all live in the same confined world. the things that happen one place in the world can affect what happens somewhere else in the world. And if we're serious about preventing bad things from happening in the world, we also have to be serious about the context in which they're created. And I'm trying to be serious about that context. So I can both say that the attack on Temple Israel was anti-Semitic and wrong. And I can also say that the circumstances that created that, it didn't happen in a vacuum. And that those circumstances that created that are important to stand up against as well. So, the notion that somehow I cannot condemn a war that killed a little boy and a little girl in Lebanon because of an attack on Temple Israel seems to me inconsistent with the way the world actually works. And I'd like to live in a world where we stand up against any and all violence, understanding that anti-Semitism is wrong, understanding that wars that we should not be fighting are also wrong, and understanding that there really is a connection between the two of them, however much the rhetorical games that people try to play tell us that there somehow is not.
We're going to take two more questions. I'm sorry, we're going to have to move on to the next person. I'm sorry, Olivia.
As a Jewish state.
Olivia, we're going to have to
I'd love to
move
take the
on.
question.
So Olivia Reingold says, does Israel have the right to exist as a Jewish state?
I'd love to take the question, actually.
Thank you.
What do you mean by Jewish state?
I feel like
If you can't define the question, I'm not going to answer your question.
We're going to move on to the next person. Fox News.
That's so great. Yeah, everyone else that should be forced to answer that part. Yeah.
So two immediate things I wanted to say. So first of all, this is the clip that when Olivia Reingold wrote it up later, she said she described it as he narrowed his eyes, which is just like people zoomed in on his face, and it objectively did not happen. She made it up. This woman is parading as a journalist, and she literally wrote something false that is provably false with video evidence. It's disgusting and racist again. But the other thing that I lost my train of thought. I lost my train of thought.
Sorry. It was his really good answer to that response to that question. What do you mean by Jewish state? Yeah.
Yeah, listen to the way he responded throughout that entire clip. And just imagine having that moral clarity and consistency and confidence on the floor of the United States Senate against John Fetterman, against any Republican, against half of the Democrats, frankly. It's just imagine having that. That's why we need someone like Abdul in the Senate.
Yeah. Well, here, let's be fair to Olivia. Let's let her, we want to show her in her own words, right? Listen to Jewish women or read the texts or tweets of Jewish women. So Abdul El-Sayed, who is Muslim, walks a fine line on the Jewish state. On Tuesday night, he told the crowd, as he often does, that his problem is not with Jews. Quote, all of us love and revere Jewish folk, our Jewish neighbors, the faith of Judaism, he said, hands outstretched. Later that night, in a makeshift spin room assembled by the campaign, he rebuffed my question on whether he believes in Israel's right to exist as a Jewish state. What do you mean by Jewish state? He retorted, narrowing his eyes. If you can't answer that question, I'm not going to answer it. End quote. For someone who often waves around his respect for Judaism, he seemed unaware of something elementary. Judaism is not only a religion, but a people with a long-standing connection to Israel that runs through its prayers, traditions, and history. Wait, Judaism is a people? No, that's not even even just grammatically, she doesn't know how to conjugate, or syntactically, she's challenged here. But that also shows you that she doesn't know how to answer the question even here. You can't just say, oh, it's our history. Judaism is people long-standing. Okay, what does a Jewish state mean? That's nice that you're going to, Brad, did I show that when I was reading that?
Yeah.
Okay, phew. Okay.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, that would have been much more powerful if we saw the text. Okay, good, because I was looking at it. Okay. But yeah, again, it's like you don't get to say, okay, that's great. Say what you will. Okay, Olivia, please tell us what that means. What does Israel existing as a Jewish state look like? Mm-hmm. And they can't say that because then they'd have to acknowledge, which is why it's great when Zoran Mondani's like, it has the right to exist as a democratic state.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Yeah. So let's see. I want to talk about other candidates who you've endorsed or who you're excited about. What can you tell us about them?
So we have a number of House races that we've also endorsed in Michigan, and we're really excited about helping to boost some of these. We actually have some really strong pickup opportunities, not only for flipping Republican seats, but also to get better Democrats into office. There's really several very exciting opportunities there. We've got 5 total House candidates. Casey's got a list. We've got some things we can share about each one of them. But just want to say, like, for the people that are out there, like, wanting to support work that we're doing, for example, you know, when you help uplift some of these House races, you're also helping to uplift Abdul. Like, we're working on a strategy to help uplift the entire Michigan slate that we have endorsed, to be able to, you know, help them win in this election that's just around the corner. But Casey, go ahead and take it away.
Yeah, so I would say we're looking at Michigan's 13th district, which is currently represented by Sri Thanadar. He's being challenged by Donovan McKinney, who's got a bunch of progressive backing. I believe Bernie Sanders, you know, the whole left wing has basically come in behind him. Rashida Tlaib is really doing a lot of groundwork for him and really hitting Representative Thanadar on his lack of constituent services. He's been largely an absentee representative in the district, and just a lot of kind of weird things going on out of his congressional office. So he has a consistently high staff turnover. And his staffers actually, once they leave, they start leaking stuff to the press. So, you know, he's using his congressional office funds for franking, which is when you take your congressional appropriated funds meant for your district, your congressional office, and you're using it to kind of promote yourself in the district, and kind of using it as a campaign fund as opposed to services you're supposed to provide. Right. And he's also, you know, he's just got a horrible record on Israel and Palestine. So really, when you look at Representative Thanadar's record, it's among the bottom ranking of any of the Democratic House members. He's voted to sanction the ICC. He's voted to gut UNRWA funding. He's voted for the Anti-Semitism Awareness Act, basically another Haley Stevens. Just maybe lesser known, but he's been in office for a couple of cycles now, largely able to self-fund. I believe he came from like a biomedical testing startup or something that I can't remember exactly what
he's also got some crypto funding going on. It's really weird, but the interest,
all sorts of shady little like side.
So many shady things going on with him. But what's particularly interesting to me about Sri Thanadar is that he actually he kind of pulled a what's her name from the Senate, the Arizona. Yeah.
Oh, a Kirsten Sinema.
Okay. Yeah. He pretty kind of pulled a Kirsten Sinema in the sense that he actually was one of the people that you know, previously spoke out against calling Israel an apartheid state. And then when he ran for Congress and AIPAC started coming after him, he was like, "Oh, hello, I'd like AIPAC money." And so he started leaning into and just completely changing his positions. And now he's very like vocally and legislatively pro Israel in everything that he does.
Wow.
Yeah. So now he's really just out of step with the district. It should be, you know, a much more progressive district based on just the demographics. He was challenged by Detroit City Council member Mary Waters in his original campaign when AIPAC, I think this is one of the first instances maybe of AIPAC kind of using one of these pass-through pop-up PACs to mask their spending. They put it into, I think it was called Blue Wave Action. It was like $2.3 million to help him fend off this challenge. And then, of course, after that, he's elected. He's taking trips to Israel with AIPAC and doing exactly what they want him to do.
Wow. Wow, it's so anti-Semitic of you to suggest that. I'm just kidding. He's also not true.
What else do we got? In the 11th district, not far away, there's the Democratic primary. So this is the seat that's being vacated by Haley Stevens, giving up her seat. So it's open. And we're supporting Aisha Faruqi. She's a lawyer running in that district. And there's 2 other candidates. One of them is State Senator Jeremy Moss. He is a loud and proud Zionist. He's buddies with Attorney General Dana Nessel and the U of M regent who pushed for the students to be arrested for protesting. And he's, you know, anti-BDS, fully pro-Israel, and he partook in the smear of Rashida Tlaib back in 2024 when everybody was, you know, blasting her for being anti-Semitic for standing up for Palestine.
Yeah.
The other candidate in that race is Don Ufford, and he's actually, it seems like he's trying to campaign as a progressive, but he recently got called out at a town hall folks are realizing he was actually registered as a Republican 4 years ago.
Okay.
And so he's trying to answer for that. And he's like, well, I just wanted to go and see, how things, what they do on the other side. And the audience is like, well, you don't need to like become a Republican to learn.
Yeah, exactly. It's like
so
undercover.
I'm hoping folks will kind of suss that out. There's really two factions here. There's like the unserious guy we don't really know what he stands for. There's the loud and proud Zionist. And then there's a people's champion who's going to stand up for peace. So Aisha Faruqi in the 11th district.
And I'll add too about Aisha's race is that she's, there is some internal polling that's been shared from the campaign to their fundraising list about how she's polling for this open seat for like 3 candidates that have basically no name recognition, no national name recognition. She's polling within 6 points. And that's just at the top. And then when they do message testing, when they like tell more about the background of each candidate and where they stand on different issues, she blows everybody out and she's leading by 20 points. And so with a very, really just a very modest investment of time and resources from some progressive groups, like she could legitimately blow this race out of the water and she'd be in Congress because this is a safe blue seat. So like this is a race I think people are sleeping on right now that they shouldn't be. She definitely deserves our support. Did you want to talk about Kyle as well? I think he's another like really strong contender. Yeah.
So in the 1st district, Kyle Blomquist is a sitting city council member in Iron Mountain, where he currently serves as the mayor pro tem, and he's running in what is currently a Republican district held by Representative Jack Bergman, who's AIPAC endorsed. Kyle is running a really unabashedly progressive campaign. He's really taken a strong stand, just calling out AIPAC and the Israel lobby directly, and tapping into something that I think particular in this kind of district is a very strong message. People are counting out these districts. It's rated as a solid Republican, but this is, I think, a really weak incumbent. Jack Bergman is 79 years old and is not well liked.
He doesn't even
does not live in the district, so
he doesn't even live in Michigan. He's got a house.
Okay, Cory, maybe you have a little bit more of a scoop on this one if you want to dig in.
Well, I mean, he has a household that he maintains in the district for purposes, but he does not live in the district, doesn't live in the state hasn't for years. So which is, I guess he's meeting the minimum legal threshold, but he certainly is not invested in the community as much as someone like Kyle, who's like serving actively in an elected role in that community. And I think what's a couple things that are really exciting to me about Kyle is, like Casey said, he's running this unabashedly progressive campaign against an incumbent that is completely checked out. If he gets through this primary, I think he's got a tough fight. It's no doubt it's a red district, but there's so many benefits to investing in a district like that, because any extra votes that we help turn out that we can maybe help get Kyle even close to flipping that district are all votes that are going to help Abdul in the statewide race. And also, this is how we make political change. Like, we have to have this long-term strategy. I started doing this work 9 years ago with Brand New Congress, and we ran all kinds of candidates that were in R+15, R+20 districts. And people would say, like, why are you even bothering? Don't come back to me unless when it's an R+1. And when I say people, I'm not talking about voters. I'm talking about Democratic consultants and campaign, party officials. They think it's a waste of time to talk to voters and to present progressive ideas in districts that are, that are not, within a percentage point or two of flipping already. And that is just not how. You're just giving up on large swaths of the country. You're just ceding the ideological territory to these people that are just becoming more and more extreme with every year. It's a ridiculous way to do politics. It's the reason why Democrats keep losing in these kinds of places. I just think that this is a race that's definitely worth investing in. Kyle is great. He's been packing, I know one of his recent events, he had 200 people turn out to a town hall in a town of 1,400 people. Wow. So he's got real energy. He doesn't have as many marquee endorsements as some other candidates have, but he's the real deal.
Katie Halper show. We'll get that Katie Halper show bump.
Well, let's do it.
Yeah. Well, I want to leave you all with a very scary video. This is from Fox News that you guys actually tweeted this out. It's a recent video. It's a warning call. Let's take a look at this.
You got this guy, Abdul El-Sayed, who just got endorsed by AOC, a socialist from New York, who's come out, he can't answer the question, should Israel exist? And if you say taking money from AIPAC as a Democrat, which is a lobbyist group, the Israeli lobbyist group, you're basically done as a candidate. That's where this party is right now.
I'm looking at it better myself.
Yeah.
I mean, first, can we just start with Socialist Summer? Like, yeah, baby.
Yeah, that is great.
I love that he clearly labels it as an Israeli lobbyist group.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. Thanks for that. Thanks for that PSA. I mean, Abdul should just cut that as an ad into an ad. Yeah. Yeah. And by the way, they did. I think Nathan Robinson pointed out that like someone joked that someone should make a website of Haley Stevens saying, Israel comes to me in my dreams, and they actually have made that website now.
So actually, it's even funnier than that. The website is hilarious. But this morning, Haley Stevens launched her Abdul Apo campaign where she launched a website called AbdulFacts.com, I think. And within hours, they had Haley Facts up, and the Haley Facts website it's phenomenal. Are you going to put it up?
Yeah, sure. Do we have that, Brad? If not,
it's HaleyFacts.com.
Okay, HaleyFacts.com. Yeah.
Yeah. Just the fact that they got this up so fast. Yeah. I don't know if they had it primed in the background. Kudos either way, because it's incredible. And also, if you're going to drop AbdulFacts.com and you didn't go and buy the domain HaleyFacts.com, what are you doing?
Good point. Yeah.
Just like, come on, girl.
Yeah. It's Brad, you have it? Okay, there it is. So there it is, HaleyFacts.com. Says click for sound and says, okay, let's.
In the United States Congress, I will continue to fight for the people of Israel. I will continue to fight for Israel's existence. Israel comes to me in my dreams. I see Israel's future.
Okay.
This needs to be an ad that just is.
I really like the button up here that says "Make it stop."
That's hilarious.
Donate.
Just beautiful.
Wow.
Just beautiful execution.
Yeah, really well done. Yeah. Well done. Well, thank you, Casey and Cory. We look forward to checking in more with you and hearing more about your candidates.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for having us.
Yes. Thanks. Someone wrote she's the female John Hagee, which is kind of hilarious. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not too far off from the truth. Okay. Have a great night, guys.
You too.
Bye. Don't go anywhere because we have another guest. He is wonderful. We are so honored to be talking to him. He's been on the show before, and it's especially honor. It's especially an honor given how busy he is, because this person is an actual medical doctor. And in addition to being a medical doctor and a board member of Med Global, which is a medical humanitarian NGO that works at building healthcare capacity and reducing health inequalities, he travels around, and he traveled to Gaza. He's been there on several medical missions. He was also in Lebanon, and he is a board-certified emergency medicine physician. So he himself is Palestinian, and he is based in Chicago. So welcome back to the show, Thayer. How are you?
Good. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Of course. Thank you for coming. It's like such a terrible. I mean, I always say words fail because there kind of is what can be said, but you are doing such important work, and you're so brave because you go to places to help people who are being, it's not like a natural disaster, right? I mean, when you go to Gaza, this is like people are suffering, being killed because of a policy decision.
Right.
But tell us, please, about, I have a lot to ask you about, but one of the first things I do want to ask you about is this horrible, the horrible treatment of Dr. Abu Safiya, and you actually know him. So tell us who he is and what is happening to him.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Dr. Hussam Abu Safiya is a senior pediatrician that was working in Kamal Adwan Hospital. It was one of the only pediatric hospitals in the north of Gaza. And he's somebody who also happens to be an op-ed contributor to the New York Times. Over the course of the last 2.5 years, he's written 2 op-eds in the New York Times, and one of them was published a couple of weeks before he was abducted by the Israeli military. Dr. Hussam is somebody who, over the course of the genocide, was giving us constant updates through his interviews. He was somebody who was explaining the situation on the ground. He was showing us the human cost of what the Israeli military was doing in Gaza. And he was staying in the ICU where all of these little infants and babies were in incubators. And he was constantly appealing to the world, saying, you have to put a stop to this. You have to allow these hospitals to continue to function. We need the medicine. We need people to have a safe place to go. And in the process of that, he lost his son, Ibrahim, in an Israeli airstrike and actually had to bury him in the compound of the hospital. He himself was injured in a drone strike. He was hit with shrapnel in his leg. And when they sieged Gamal Adwan Hospital for over 2 months, the Israeli military laid siege to it. Nobody was allowed to enter. Nobody was allowed to leave. We saw in the very final moments Dr. Hussam emerge from the hospital after safely evacuating all of his patients, and he had to approach an Israeli tank, and that was the moment he was abducted. And since that moment, we've seen him, as well as many of the other Palestinian healthcare workers who were abducted by the Israeli military, get no sort of due process. Every single time an update emerges from these Israeli prisons about Palestinian healthcare workers or even any of the prisoners, it's worse. And the most recent update we got about Dr. Hussam was from his lawyer, who's an Israeli lawyer. He's an Israeli Palestinian. His name is Nasser Oda. He visited him on July 2nd, and he was so distraught at how Dr. Hussam looked, he issued a petition immediately. He said, my client is on the brink of death. He said, I'm scared that there will be no next visit, given how beaten Dr. Hussam was, how out of breath. He could not even finish sentences without catching his breath. He had bruises all over his body. He had also had he has medical conditions like high blood pressure, and none of that had been tended to in the nearly 2 years that he's been abducted and held and detained. And he was he was absolutely confused at the fact that there was no sort of progress on Dr. Hussam's case. And, this is something that I think is a microcosm of the conditions in Israeli prisons, but also the way that healthcare workers in Palestine, specifically in Gaza, have been targeted. Dr. Hussam is one of 14 medical doctors, senior medical doctors from Gaza, who remain in Israeli dungeons without any charge. Dr. Hussam himself, there's no charge against him. The Israeli prosecutor has not provided any sort of evidence saying, well, Dr. Hussam is in prison because of this. Right. And it's just some sort of unlawful combatant law that was passed to be able to abduct and detain Palestinians. And so, the one thing I'll mention is in this list of 14 senior doctors, I worked alongside 2 of them during the genocide. And I remember when the Israeli military surrounded Nasser Hospital in January and February of 2024. I was able to evacuate safely. Those 2 doctors, Dr. Nahed and Dr. Mahmoud, one is the director of surgery and the other one is an ICU doctor. They said, we can't leave our patients. And for that, they paid a heavy price. I mean, they are languishing away in these Israeli dungeons. And one final point I'll make about the Israeli prison system right now, especially after October 7th, the conditions are dire. Almost every single Palestinian inmate, every single Palestinian who gets abducted and is in these prisons gets scabies from how horrible the sanitary conditions are. All of them are neglected. They're almost always having their hands and their feet tied. They're always in a stressful position where they have to be bent down in a certain position. And like Dr. Hussam, for example, he's in a facility that's underground. He doesn't even see the light of day. And so, this of course would concern his attorney, as it should concern everybody that's paying attention to what's going on, because already almost 100 Palestinians have died since October 7th in these prisons. And one of them being Dr. Adnan Bush, who was this really prominent bone surgeon in Gaza, who anybody that became a doctor knew of. Dr. Adnan Bush he was the mentor for all medical students and all aspiring surgeons. And so this is the most recent thing that's emerged. It's like you said, it's really tough to describe in words, but this nightmare is never ending.
Yeah, it's so awful. And we have the image, this kind of iconic image of him walking in the rubble towards the IOF tank. So this is this image, which is just incredible.
This is this is being taken from Kamal Adwan through one of the windows. And so he's the last kind of like person of the medical staff and the patients that's sort of walking out. And in fact, the Israeli military had published a video of this when he's kind of walking up to the tank. And you see one of these soldiers almost, you know, in just like in a mocking way, like putting his hand out to shake Dr. Hassan's hand, saying, "Hey, doctor, how are you doing?" Like right after the hospital that he was the director of is totally, you know, emptied out of any sort of patients, knowing that that hospital is going to be destroyed. And of course, they removed that video. You won't find that video anymore. But it's horrifying.
Yeah, it is horrifying, and it's like they think it's funny to mock this guy who's now being beaten and tortured. And by the way, Dr. Adnan al-Bursh, I mean, he was killed and he was sexually assaulted. I mean, this is another thing. It's like this disgusting combination of the brutality, the sexual violence, the targeting of doctors. I mean, it's all of these things in one example. And one of the things that I just can't ever like forgive people for is the spreading of the mass rape narrative about what was done on October 7th when there's no evidence of mass rape, none. And when there actually is documented evidence of it, like where none of the outlets that covered the mass rape have covered the systemic and documented on video rape of Palestinians.
I mean, and if you talk to any of the people that have been able to get out of these Israeli prisons and that have gone back to Gaza, all of them will detail really disturbing sort of practices. And there's one thing I do want to mention too that I think is, as you mentioned, Dr. Adnan al-Bursh, his body, his body, he was found basically with, from, only having a shirt on, was naked otherwise in the Ofar prison, which is near Ramallah. And, that's something, again, it reverberated through all of Palestine. This idea of the humiliation that's associated with this is something that every single professional, not just doctors or nurses or first responders, every single person, it really terrified them. And even when I was there and we saw what was taking place in terms of its hospital after hospital, clinic after clinic that's being raided, that was like one of the prevailing themes that you heard from healthcare workers was like, I don't want to be around when they surround this hospital because I know of the things that they may do to me and the way that I'll be treated. And so it really, it's not just these isolated incidents. It's not just Dr. Hussam and Dr. Adnan or the 14 doctors that I mentioned. It's sort of this pervasive practice that's meant to send a message to all Palestinians. This idea of like anybody that chooses to remain in Gaza, this could be your fate. You could be killed, you could be abducted, you could be injured, but you are not going to be able to survive. And so leave, it's promoting this forced displacement.
Yeah, and it's just like makes it's all the more admirable that people are willing to do this work, I mean, it's unreal. And it's also the fact that his wife is from Kazakhstan, right? So he chose to stay. Like he could have easily left. So again, it's just I don't know.
Yeah, he did medical school in Kazakhstan.
Yeah.
He had, I know for a fact, he had multiple opportunities to evacuate himself and his family. And, this is, again, he was in the north of Gaza. So very early on, the north of Gaza was already in horrible famine-like conditions long before the rest of Gaza was, because the Israelis had wanted to create this sort of buffer zone. They really wanted to empty out those northern towns and cities and neighborhoods. And Kamal Adwan is situated in the north, in an area that the Israelis didn't want any Palestinians there. And so him staying, he knew kind of what was at stake, and he made that decision very intentionally of saying, I can't abandon and let this hospital go to waste or let these kids die that are in these incubators. And you mentioned like the fact that knowing, I would say that about so many of the Palestinian like healthcare workforce, the humanitarians that are there, even the engineers and the teachers. I don't know why they still do what they do. I don't know why they still show up to work. I can't imagine being in their situation and finding sort of that will to continue on. But it's also this sense of responsibility and duty that they have to their community. Like Dr. Sam knows when he puts the white coat on and he shows up to Kamal Adwan in the morning, people see that. you know, and just like all of these other doctors who are in these other hospitals, they're noticing that the doctors are showing up to work, that the nurses are showing up, that the first responders are still getting into the ambulance. And so that sense of duty is so profound. And to me, that's why it bothers me so much when these morons try to spread, you know, these like, and I'm specifically speaking about the American and the Western like media, when they try to just adopt the sort of propaganda against these people. It's like, you don't even know them.
I know.
You never even spoke to them. You're just regurgitating this nonsense. It's really frustrating.
Yeah, it is. I mean, well, okay, so we're going to get to that, but I also, you know, I have that question for you sometimes. I'm like, you don't live in Gaza. You don't have to go there. You know, I also wonder, you know, what makes you risk your life to do that? I mean, you're not doing it every day the way that, and I'm neither belittling what you're doing nor, you know, but it's all, that's not an insignificant risk and sacrifice. So I guess what makes you do that? Leave the United States to go and
I think you know, being a part of the Palestinian diaspora, again, it's this, you know, you're sort of looking at the folks that this is happening to, that are on the ground, that are in Gaza, that are even in the West Bank and Hebron, and you know, you are sort of guilty. You know, you have this survivor's guilt about the privilege that you live in. And you know, I'm actually a part of this documentary called American Doctor that follows 3 doctors that went to Gaza. The second part of it is I'm acutely aware, just like my colleagues who are in this, for Dr. Feroz and Dr. Mark Perlmutter, we're acutely aware of the role our government is playing. And, you know, for me, that's something that I really struggle with. I think about it when I lay my head trying to sleep at night. It's like, you know, the taxes that I'm paying, there is a direct line between sort of the bullets that are used in Gaza, the bombs that are being dropped, the fighter jets, and my actual money, like the money that I earn, you know? And so when you have both of those things at play here, where you're like, I'm a member of the diaspora, I have all of this privilege, but also the government, I'm a citizen of this country that's perpetuating this. It's not like they're supporting it. They are a partner in what's happening in Palestine. You know, it's really hard to kind of just sit back and not just want to occupy yourself with something that could potentially be productive for your, you know, for Palestine.
Right. Well, let's take, I mean, this is disturbing, but I think it's important for people to see a before and after image of Dr. Safiya. So, I mean, on the left, obviously, he's much healthier. I mean, he's like very gaunt right now. So that's from October 2024 versus June 2026. And this reminds me of, you know, we would see this also with the hostages. You know, it was incredible because, I mean, the longer time went on, you'd see the Israeli hostages were thinner than at the beginning, but like they were not skin and bones the way the Palestinians ones were. And the Palestinian ones were in a place that was not undergoing famine.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I think that's one thing that you become very, very aware of, the dehumanization, the racism against Palestinians, is when you see sort of the way the discussion is centered around sort of the plight of Israeli hostages versus the Palestinians who are being abducted by this very sophisticated military, and there's like this very systematic torture being perpetuated against them. You saw it, you know, clear as day. Whether it's the airtime that they may receive in the media, or even just like those like human stories that come out about it. You know, it's like hundreds of Palestinians are being released. They all look like shells of their former self, signs of trauma everywhere. Clearly their mental health is in this very, very disturbing kind of way. And there's of course no mention of that, you know, and I of course, I'm a relative of somebody who was in Israeli prison for almost 2 years and was released less than a year ago, thankfully. And you know, he everything that you're hearing in all of these reports and the New York Times article that came out, he said that to me verbatim, word for word. And it's like, you know, so to me, it's like, wow, it's clear. This is one person that they decided to pick on. Right. It's a very systematic approach, and no one even gives it the bad of an eye. Like, it's not even an afterthought. Whereas, you know, I will still see CBS or ABC or somebody, you know, really go into, I mean, you saw the mother of the hostage that was killed. You know, she's writing a book, she's able to get on. And hey, I'll tell you something, like, a mom sort of grieving her
Yeah.
child, I think everybody can relate to it. And
Sure.
I think for me, it's like, where are the Palestinian mothers that, you know, have lost everything? When
Right.
can we hear their voice? I so desperately want their story to also get out there. I want
know.
people to see the suffering that they went through. And I think, you know, I think it's a very deliberate thing, of course, you know, just that sort of censorship.
Right. Yeah. It's not, I mean, some people though, if you don't know to look for it, you don't even realize that it's so absent, you know,
Totally.
the double standard and the dehumanization, like you're saying, like
Yeah.
the worthy victims. And there's actually a campaign now to free Dr. Abu Safiya. Can you talk about that?
Well, there are several. I mean, I think there's a couple of different avenues that we want to approach. First, of course, there's a current campaign that's active that emerged from this visit where we're asking that healthcare workers sign on and really ask for his release, because there's been a shameful silence of American professional societies, of Israeli medical associations, and of the World Medical Association. I mean, they don't want to say anything. These cowards are so unwilling to even acknowledge that there is a colleague of ours that's in these sort of conditions.
Why
You
aren't
know,
they up in arms?
I would even at this point, with how low the standard is and how low the bar, I would even say they should demand that either charge him or release him. Like,
right.
you know, hey, you got something against him? Show
Sure.
us the evidence.
Yeah, right.
Show us the evidence. And you know, as obviously as somebody who knows him and his family, there is no evidence. And I would bet my medical license on. I would be like, hey, if you can prove a single thing, I personally will resign from my position and give up my medical license. Like, that's how confident I am. But I would even accept that from like the World Medical Association saying, hey, show us the evidence of why you have this guy, abducted and in prison. You know, and there are other sort of things that are at play here. You know, a month ago was the 10-year anniversary where a UN Security Council resolution was passed specifically about protecting healthcare workers in conflict zones. You know, this was born out of what was going on in Syria. The UN Security Council came together. They passed this resolution. It's been 10 years. And by all metrics and all measures, it's gotten infinitely worse because of what's taken place in Palestine and in Sudan and in Lebanon. And so, you know, from that sort of perspective, we're asking member states, you passed the resolution, you know, can you put your money where your mouth is? Like, is it just all talk here? We need some sort of accountability. And, you know, they have an opportunity, I think, to at least ask for some sort of visitation and something to happen here, something that doesn't result in impunity, that doesn't result in no accountability for what's taken place here, you know. And so that's another sort of avenue. And then, of course, there's also within the Israeli courts, there is the fight that's there. There are petitions being filed by human rights groups trying to get the Red Cross to be able to visit Palestinians, as well as trying to have some sort of due process play out, some sort of visitation. And, you know, I'll be frank with you. I'll be honest, Katie, like, there's not been a lot of momentum around this. You know, there's just not been enough energy and enough political will. There's plenty of people ready to support. I mean, the masses are signing on to these petitions. They're reposting, they're commenting. But we cannot get, for example, our State Department to do anything about this. We cannot get the UN Security Council to pass any sort of resolution. We cannot get member states that claim to be champions of human rights to acknowledge this. You know, I mean, at this point, I want to appeal to the Pope and to the Catholic Church and say, you guys are the largest real estate owner in Jerusalem. So, you know, and they've actually been able to visit Gaza twice since the genocide. They've been able to send a cardinal to visit the churches that are in Gaza. I would hope that maybe they can visit some of the Palestinian prisoners, you know, just something. We need something. And I hope that this is I hope that what's going on with Dr. Hassam, that people wake up before it's too late.
And what is he like as a person?
Oh, he's such an incredible human being. Like, he's already an amazing pediatrician. He is somebody who, you know, you really trust his medical opinion. You're like, you want to take your kid to him. But on top of that, he's just a witty person. He can, you know, his timing, his comedic timing is great. He's somebody who's always taking a positive note. He never shied away from like any sort of interview, even when I was there and I saw people tell him, you know, we were in a group chat together. They're like, be careful, like tone it down a bit. He never shied away. He was just like, I got to say what it is. And I remember when the hospital's generator had been struck by an Israeli drone and there was this concern that the power was going to go out. I remember him like sending a message and showing how people were repairing it and like how excited he was to get it back up and running. Like, that's the kind of guy you're talking about, somebody who's passionate about his profession because of the way that it serves people, the way that it serves humanity. And you know, when I was in Gaza, I was not able to get to him because the north had been cut off from the south. And that's one thing that I think about now, is just not being able to see my colleagues at Shifa and at Kamal Adwan and at, you know, these northern hospitals, the way that it was just sort of carved up, and then all of them sort of being abducted or, you know, being displaced. And so, you know, and I'll say the same thing about some of these other medical doctors too, the 14 doctors that are in these prisons. Dr. Mahmoud, he's an ICU doctor. I saw him refuse to let this kid that was shot in the head sort of die on the floor of the hospital. He's like, his words were, I'm not going to leave him. I'm not going to leave him like this. So he just sat next to this, you know, 10-year-old, 11-year-old, and held his hand as he sort of drifted away. You know, and I saw Dr. Nahid, who was the director of surgery. He would check in on all of the international workers as the bombing was getting closer to the hospital. I mean, this hospital was shaking. He's knocking on the door. Don't worry, everything is okay. I promise we'll take care of you. I mean, these are the people that are in these prisons. And Dr. Nahid, I'll say one last thing about him. There are reports from other Palestinian prisoners who came out that Dr. Nahid, who was the director of surgery at Nasser Hospital in the south in Khan Yunis, he was doing procedures in the prison. Like, you know, there's an abscess, he's helping drain the abscess with these prisoners. I mean, these are the types of people that are there. And I contrast that with some of the prison docs that are refusing to treat them, or that are sort of, you know, just sitting there watching this unfold. And I say, you know, it's two different worlds.
Yeah, it is so upsetting, because it's like these are it's like the kindest people are the ones being punished the most. I mean, it is brutal. And I don't want to, like, you know, one thing I always try to be cognizant of is I also don't want to be like sort of the person that contributes to dehumanization and, like, you know, just, you know, saying that
hey,
you're just victims.
Yeah, and that they're perfect and all these.
The other thing, sure. Other extreme. Yeah.
As somebody who is involved in medical education, I train doctors who want to specialize in emergency medicine. I lecture at medical schools. I mean, I do notice something different about the healthcare workers in Gaza, and you know, maybe it's because it's so hard to finish, and specialize, and it's so hard to practice. And it really requires a dedication to the field, but they are, I mean, it really is just such a shame that they're cut off from the rest of the world. It's an absolute loss for the entire world, for the entire medical community, that these people are under siege, that they are the ones who are under attack, and that they're not allowed to sort of share their knowledge with the rest of the world.
Yeah, and I really think like the entire medical community should be like ashamed. I mean, they will have, like he said, I mean, apparently he said to his lawyer, what was it? It's awful. What was it? I just had the quote.
Are you talking about when he said, this is the last time you're going to see me?
Yeah. So where is that? I just put it in where is that? I thought I just copied and pasted it. I'm trying to read it. I
mean, just paraphrasing, he was saying, this is the last time you're going to see me. They brought me here to kill me.
And I think that, you know, what Dr. Hassan is, I don't want to put words in his mouth, but, you know, there is something too about making sure that of these 14 doctors who've been there for almost 2 years, putting these, you know, really keeping them in these Israeli prisons, they also, I feel, probably the Israeli military needs to justify what they did to these hospitals. And the way to do it is by getting these doctors, I don't know, to confess or to disappear or to not be able to share their testimony. You know, like it really feels at this point, like, why are you holding these people? Why are you holding up to 100 healthcare workers? It doesn't make any sense to me. And I think that's why I think that Dr. Hassan's like his intuition is like, they would be very happy with him sort of dying in prison here and never being able to speak to the outside world about everything that he's seen over the last 3 years, including his stay in Israeli prisons.
Yeah, it's this is the end. This is the last time you will see me. They brought me here to kill me. I mean, how can these doctors around the world be silent in the face of this? I mean, it's going, I hope this moves them. I hope this moves people, but I also hope that if you don't say something, like this is not very productive, but like you should feel pain every single day of your life, honestly.
Yeah.
Like
it's, you know, I'll tell you, I mean, yesterday I was supposed to do a webinar talking about the situation, and it was through a medical professional society. they canceled it. And, they canceled it because of pressure that was, and it manifests in this way. This is why these societies are not speaking up, why they're not releasing statements, why they're not talking to lawmakers or to governments. It manifests in a way where suddenly my testimony or whatever I'm going to talk about when it comes to Gaza, Lebanon, the West Bank, if I'm going to speak about something, then an Israeli has to come and also speak about something. And that's sort of, to me, that's absurd that we're willing to kind of even sort of yeah. I mean, why? To me, it's like, why, if I'm a Palestinian, if I want to talk about Palestine or Palestinians, why do I have to bring up anybody else? Why can't I just talk about my people as a member of the diaspora? Why can't I talk about the medical situation? You wouldn't do that for Ukraine. You wouldn't say, if you're going to talk about Ukraine, you better mention Russia and their medical system.
Or bring a Russian to talk if you have a Ukrainian to speak. 100%.
You would never do that. And so I think that's we've seen that across the board. We've asked the American Medical Association many times to bring up Dr. Hussam, to talk about him over the last 2 years. So much so that one of my colleagues, Dr. Tammy, who served in Gaza, she went to one of their meetings and just got up in the middle of the speech for the president of the AMA and said, how are you still silent? Why are you not talking about this?
Unreal. Yeah.
So it's not for a lack of, I think, members asking them to do something. I think it's just a cowardice. It's a lack of sort of that moral fiber to be able to stand up and say, I don't care if somebody's going to yell at me. This doesn't make sense that this kid's doctor is, languishing away and may die, So, and I guess I should say, the current administration is also, they are using sort of this, they are using Palestine advocacy to punish nonprofits, to strip them of their status, to label them in a certain fashion. And I understand that's a real, I understand that's a real threat, and I understand that something you should consider.
Right.
But if it's going to change, your position on something and going to force you to compromise your principles, then what kind of institution are you
in the first place? Right.
Yeah, exactly. So, that's just my sort of position on it. But it's been very frustrating.
And the more people speak out, of course, the harder it is to stigmatize, and the more normal it is for people to just be speaking out about this, the harder it will be for the administration to single out an institution, because all of them would be. So it's
exactly.
Really,
What do they think is going to happen? I mean, with each report that's being released by the Commission of Inquiry at the United Nations or by Amnesty International or Human Rights Watch, with all of these different, as the data is being collected and the information is coming to the surface, I mean, what do they think is going to happen? Do they think people will forget that they were silent, or that they were censoring and dismissing these sorts of things? Whatever. But that's I do believe that they will be held to account for this as well. They're not going to be saved from their silence and ineptitude.
Yeah. Well, I believe you have to go. I want to ask you about more things, but I cannot hold you back, because unlike the degenerates I'm about to bring on, who I wouldn't mind because they're not saving lives. That's me dissing our next guest. But it'd be funny if they were nurses or something, or PAs, and I was just being no, they're not that. They're great people. But thank you so much. I will see you in New York City. I'm going to the screening. I'm very excited.
Amazing. Okay.
Yeah. And really, I'll put any links that you send us or any social media campaigns, we will definitely put in description, because actually my dad's a doctor, so I'm going to get him to do something. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
No, thank you. And thank you for everything that you do. And we will, it's that line, you have to remain. I actually had on Ramzi Baroud. I don't know if you know, he's from Palestine Chronicle. He was talking about this line of it's so devastating, and the devastation is beyond, it's not comparable and unprecedented. And then you also have joy and humor at the same time.
Right.
And it's really unreal to see that. So
totally.
Yeah. And as Bobby Sand said about the Irish, the hunger striker said, our revenge will be the laughter of our grandchildren. Of our children and grandchildren. Anyway, so
amazing.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you. Always a pleasure. Thank you, Katie.
Great. Have a great night. That was amazing. I'm in awe of people like that. It's amazing. And it's so infuriating to know that people like these doctors, the last people on earth who should be, I don't want anyone to be tortured and incarcerated, killed, but it's just especially ironic that these people who are risking their lives to save the lives of others are being subjected to torture. And especially in this case where he could have left, he dual citizenship, and he didn't. And anyway, well, I'm about to bring on our next guests, and this will be hopefully, I think there'll be more levity. It would be really weird if there were less levity with them. I'm bringing on Matt Lieb, Daniel Mate, co-hosts of the most moral podcast, Bad Hasbara. Welcome, Matt and Daniel.
Who
Hi.
you calling a degenerate?
Wow.
How dare you?
I need that. Brad,
What's
can you
up,
make
everyone?
that for me?
Actually, I can, JD.
Okay, good. Yeah.
Wait, you can make
I'm
one
not
of
sure
them?
how good my hotel Wi-Fi is, but I just want to say
It looks good.
I object strenuously to the characterization of us not saving lives. I don't know what Matt did today, but I drove the Icefields Parkway from Lake Louise, Alberta to Jasper,
There you
and I
go.
didn't kill
Well.
a single mountain goat.
Oh, that's true.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
And I saw a bear in a river, and I didn't find a weapon and shoot it, and I didn't kill anyone
how does
else
that count?
in any other vehicle
know.
or on the road. What's that?
That doesn't count. You can't
Yeah.
just be like, I didn't kill anyone today. That doesn't
If
count
you
as saving a
didn't,
life.
if you went to Costco,
Mhm.
and
Costco,
you
you
didn't
sound
spend
so
a certain amount of
Canadian.
money because you bought it in bulk, you would have saved money. Yes.
Yes.
Oh my God, I object to this.
No, I don't. I
Thank
think
you.
he's convinced me.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Yeah.
You're
Changing hearts and minds. Yeah.
Every person that I let live is someone who I saved. Don't you love this? Don't you love
That's
this?
So good. Yes, I want to do that. I want to read.
Sorry, everyone.
I wish we could read. Oh, actually, what we should do is you should read some Haley Stevens quotes.
With the auto tune.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
exactly. Yeah, that would be really great.
I'd
Yeah.
be happy to do
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Well, I wanted to bring you on because we were talking in the first segment about Haley Stevens, this woman who's running against competing with
Dr.
Abdul
Abdul.
El-Sayed. Yes,
Yeah.
another great doctor. And I want to make sure that everyone you've seen this video, but let's just show it one more time. Brad, can you you want to show the website actually, and then this is a website that they built out of her viral speech. Okay, it's called Halifax, right?
Halifax.
Yeah, I know it sounds like Halifax, but it's called
It does.
Halifax, and it's in response to like this. They made a website about Abdul El-Sayed that's like supposed to be Oppo, and literally all it is like insinuation and headlines.
Yeah.
Like it's not actually anything.
This is why this guy wants to give you free communist health care.
Yeah. Or
This
like
guy wants to make sure everybody fucks.
To fight for Israel's existence.
Oh shit.
Israel comes to me in my dreams. I see Israel's future.
Yo.
And in the United States Congress, I will continue to fight for the people of Israel. I will continue for Israel's existence. Israel comes to me in my dreams. I see Israel's future.
okay, so
Why is she trying to fuck Israel?
States Congress.
well, so all right, let's
Get out of my dreams. Get into
Yeah.
my bank account.
yeah. Why? Okay, so I'm trying to explain to people without being like
Get
Anti-Semitic.
into my coffers.
kind of anti-Semitic or like or something like it's already like this
Getting
woman is
harder and
not-
harder,
no,
Katie. It's
this
getting hard.
woman is not Jewish.
Sure,
like-
she sure isn't.
So I mean, and again, it's like I'm not sanctioning is so annoying because it could mean both things that are opposite meanings.
Yeah,
I'm not.
Contronym.
That's
That's a
right.
word that,
Oh, is that it? Is that
contains
what
its
it-
opposite.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
That's what it's called.
So
yeah.
I'm not condoning when Jews
Like dust.
say
If
something.
you dust a shelf, you're removing
Yeah. Yeah,
particles
true.
from
Yeah,
the.
yeah.
Sorry,
Yeah.
the connection's bad here. But if you dust a cake, you're putting particles on it.
Interesting.
Oh, wow, look at that.
Well,
Mhm.
I just want to, again, I'm not like condoning or giving people who are Jewish a get out of jail free card if they say that Israel comes to them in their dreams, but it's like a little weirder
It is
when
always weird.
they're
Yeah.
not Jewish and saying that. Like, what?
Get out of jail free. Come on, Jews don't go to jail. Come on.
Yeah,
All
what
right,
do we do
sure.
with that?
Get out of kibbutz duty.
What are we doing in
whatever.
jail in the first
But
place?
no, but like,
Come on.
isn't it?
Maybe
I mean,
maybe on
it's-
maybe on lawyer visits, you know.
Isn't it
No,
weird?
Christian Zionism is 1,000 times weirder
It is, right?
than any other Zionism. And I say that not because any other Zionism is somehow better, but
Right.
because Christian Zionism relies on this weird agreed thing where everyone fetishizes the state of Israel, which
Right.
like it's one thing to do that because it's like, well, but it's my personal ethno state. It's another thing entirely to do it because it's like your best friend's personal ethno state.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah. I mean, it's just like I think that, and this is not whitewashing, like secular Zionism, but you can often have like, and this is something problematic, progressive except on Palestine, right? Like something scary about it is that you can have normal ideas and then you also embrace an ethno state, right?
Mm-hmm.
But like to be a Christian talking about having dreams of Israel, like it's different. It's not your like run of the mill, like, indoctrination, brainwashing. I don't even really know what it is. Like I feel like I have yet to go deep undercover. Yeah.
And I kind of want to like a Christian evangelical church just to see what the Zionism is like, because from the videos I've seen, it's like it's pretty it's pretty insane. It's the like peak philo-Semitism where
Right.
they are just like, they talk about the poor Jews had death brought upon them by Adolf Hitler, and now it is their turn to turn the tables on the world. And it's just like,
Exactly,
wait, that's weird. Why would you be
right?
No one should be killing anybody en masse. Why are we doing this?
Well, especially because we're gonna have to die. Most of us will have to die during the end times also. So there's that. Awkward.
Yeah, that's the other thing, is the end times prophecy thing. But that I kind of like. It's like I kind of get why Zionist Jews are fine with that.
Yeah,
because they're like,
that's not gonna happen.
yeah, that's not gonna happen. You
Yeah,
guys,
exactly.
Whatever fairy tale you want to believe,
Right.
that's fine. Just help Israel.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
We need to get Haley Stevens over to the Knesset for a Jerusalem prayer breakfast.
Absolutely.
Did you see that clip, Katie? Of
she would crush it at the Jerusalem prayer breakfast.
No one.
She would.
Oh, it's so
okay.
good.
So first of all, sorry, I can't tell if there's a lag over there because there's a lag over here.
No, it's from what I can tell, there's no lag.
It's gonna. Okay, good. It's gonna be hard for me to do my usual collaborative
Seamless humor.
Thing,
yeah.
It'll be a little clunky, but so there was a video, Katie, of a bunch of international Christian ministers in the Knesset at what was called a Jerusalem prayer breakfast, and in the Knesset they each
how
take
recent
turns.
is this?
And it was kind of a Eurovision. It was a Eurovision for obsequious contrition, and they each went up and just subbed themselves. There you go.
That's Michelle Bachmann on the right. That's Michelle Bachmann.
Okay, very good. So
Yeah.
there were clearly Americans, but there were
And you
also
you can request an invitation.
Wow, can we
Nice.
fill that in right
Request-
now?
Oh yeah, it's
Love
my
to go
invitation.
Jerusalem
That's
prayer
really
breakfast.
funny. Anyway, there was Germans. There was a couple of Brits who were like,
Nice.
"Yeah, Lord our Father, forgive us for not helping the Jews enough."
Aye.
And Germans were like, "Please forgive us for anti-Semitism." But
Yeah, that's
we
right.
gave the prize to a Korean woman who
she
said that
crushed it, dude.
she's
She
like,
was
both South and we won't do the accent, but both South and North Korea need to come together to apologize for pray to Jesus for forgiveness. And
Oh my
it's like, wow, like philo-Semitism is going to reunify the island of Korea.
yeah, and we
The island?
were
No, the
peninsula of Korea. Yeah, no, she was incredible. She was crying, and she was the only one who really, put her whole pussy into it. You know what I mean? Like she really just was like, I'm going all out. I'm gonna be weeping, openly weeping in the Knesset,
Wow.
begging for forgiveness from God and the state of Israel. There's like a level of, for lack of a better word, unfortunately, cuckedness that a lot of Christian evangelicals exhibit when it comes to Israel, and it seems to be for a purpose that I don't fully understand, other than I guess they get some sort of support for their mega churches.
Right.
I don't really know.
but it's more than just cuckery. Look, we don't have our usual disclaimer or bumper. I'm gonna just mention that I listened to a Tucker Carlson episode, and
We
everyone
usually have
can
a
yell at me.
bumper
We usually have a
before he
bumper
mentions Tucker Carlson. that
Yeah.
explains.
Well, before you mention
not-
it, but
Right.
you know, we're not endorsing. But on my long road trip, I listened to things, you know, and I'd say about
Mein Kampf.
yeah, right. I'd say about 3 out of every 5 Tucker episodes are non-insane, but 2 out of every 5 are completely bonkers. I listened to one that was somewhere in between, and it was a guy who went actually not undercover, but he's a Christian guy who did a deep investigative thing on the Christian church. I mean, these are people who are concerned about it from the inside.
Right.
A deeply religious, spiritual person who thinks that the spirit of Christianity and the nature of American sovereignty are being attacked here. And he talked about not just like the ideological capture, but like the geofencing, the hundreds of millions of dollars that Israel concertedly puts into infiltrating and
Geofencing.
That's right.
The geofencing, exactly. It's a huge campaign. It's as real as their, you know, global Hasbara. Like, it's a very specific part of their Hasbara that we haven't covered very much because we're not inside of it. But it's actually a remarkable, conversation.
Huh.
Yeah, we should cover more of it because I think also when we started the podcast, for the not the first time, but like for I think a real significant proportion of the Jewish institutions that were once sort of if not quietly supporting Israel, were tacitly supporting Israel. All of a sudden, after October 7th, they all sounded like Christian Zionist megachurches.
So weird. You would think it would be the opposite. But
yeah. So like before then, you know, I had definitely covered more when I worked at Al Jazeera of the Christian Zionist, you know, evangelical sect that was, you know, made up the majority of Zionists in this country. And then after October 7th, I was just like, oh no, it's the evangelification of all Jews in America. But
not all Jews, most Jewish institutions, yeah,
right. But we should definitely, I think, go more deep into it because it is fascinating to me too, how much money they spend on like PR just for secular, you know, the sake of like secular media. How much money do you think they spend for Christian media specifically? It's probably
we're talking about
insignificant
tours,
amount,
right?
When we were talking about
red, I mean, their red heifers are expensive too.
Yeah,
no doubt.
Yeah.
Well, I want to show you guys before we, and I know you have some videos that you wanted to show, Daniel. But before we get to that, I do want to just close the Haley Stevens loop a little bit because I want to show some videos of her, and also we have a kind of shocking update. You're never going to believe who came up during a Dana Bash interview with Netanyahu, which literally took place today. But in order to appreciate that, let's see some more Haley. So here's Haley on a tour, right? This is her on a bus tour in the Holy Land. Let's take a look at this.
Yeah.
Hello, everyone. It is Congresswoman Haley Stevens from the great state of Michigan, and I am with 20 of my Democratic colleagues from all over our great nation, Colorado, Ohio, North Carolina, and fellow Michiganders. And we are here in the beautiful country of Israel, learning about her democracy, learning about our shared commitment to national defense, economic development, and trade.
I just shuddered thinking of what her Hebrew would sound like in that Midwestern accent.
Baruch Hashem. I can't even do it right. I sounded Jamaican.
So
no, those vowels are the least Semitic vowels I've ever heard in my life. Yeah.
So now, given that amazing clip, it's going to make it all the more painful for us to see this interaction between Netanyahu and Dana Bash. Let's take a listen.
Very excited.
Trying to terrorize everyone else.
Some American Jews in Congress who support Israel and support what you just said say that a lot of the actions by you and your government are making Jews in the United States unsafe. Congresswoman Haley Stevens, she's running for Senate in Michigan, said Benjamin Netanyahu has made us less safe. He has frankly put Jews in an uncomfortable position across the country. Have you?
Well, it's made her uncomfortable because she can't stand up for the truth. She's trying to probably excuse anti-Semitism. You know,
she's not. She's. I mean, I just want to explain. She's
Jews.
somebody who supports Israel. She supports funding Israel, which is diminishing big time.
Not enough
among Democrats and even some Republicans.
I'll be the judge of that. Israel, she would support me and all the babies I want to kill.
Well, let me tell you, we track.
I can't think of one time she gave me a hand job or even sent me a hand job emoji.
And I've looked at the Gallup polls.
Okay, but what's so funny is that like this is what it looks like if Dana Bash like pushes back on allegations of anti-Semitism, and we never see this because she never does that unless it's a Zionist, right? She's like, no, like Prime Minister, like don't worry, this woman hates Palestinians.
Yeah, don't worry, she's just as racist as you'd want her to be.
Like, don't worry, yeah. Like,
so
she's not one of the.
If for a second you thought that maybe she didn't enjoy watching video after video of families being murdered and ripped apart by the IDF, you're wrong. She loves that shit. She eats it for breakfast.
So crazy,
but. Having said that, she has some critiques of you.
She has some critiques that it's not good for the Jews. That's what her critique is. Really, it's the blowback. It makes Jews unsafe.
Yeah.
And it is hilarious though that you could just see Dana being like, I should have given him these talking points before. I should have prepped him on who she was. So,
I do love the question of. So what do you say to that allegation that you indeed are the reason for spreading anti-Semitism?
Right.
Thoughts, Benjamin Netanyahu? What is he supposed to say in that situation other than, no, she's lying?
Yeah.
This bitch is lying.
I mean, they could do the whole, we've always faced anti-Semitism, and you know, that is,
if we could slip him a truth serum, he'd say, that's the idea.
Exactly, right. That's what we need. Yeah, we need that to happen. Yeah.
Good. Yeah, exactly.
That's our gross national export.
And by the way, Nate or Brad, can you, one of you, I don't know if I want to show the new ad, the Haley Stevens ad, that campaign ad that I found and tweeted out.
There's more. I love
R.I.P. Mallory McMorrow's campaign.
I know.
Give me a minute, Katie.
Oh, sure, yeah. Also, actually, we have the Mallory McMorrow. I'm going to play this, which we have here. Or Brad, can you play this since they brought her up? I just want to show.
She dropped out.
She dropped out. Yeah, she went
Sadly.
hard. She really pushed the Hasan Piker is a problem, and that's my red line. And that backfired. But she also had a great response about what she thought the scariest thing to come out of October 7th was. This is the woman who, her name, I mean, she's obviously not Jewish, but her husband is Jewish. And I guess they named their daughter Noah, so a Hebrew name. Let's take a look at this video, and then we can look at the other one, the other thing.
At the State Democratic Party convention, my husband is Jewish, and an attendee screamed an anti-Semitic slur in his face. And the only thing that I could think of is, thank God Noah, our daughter, has an Israeli name. Thank God she's not old enough to know.
Name drop, like Israeli name, Hebrew drop. Okay.
What those words mean. My daughter bears no responsibility.
I thought she was going to be like, there's no resemblance to her very Jewish looking father. Thank God.
Yeah. Thank God.
No
for
responsibility
that.
for no responsibility for what, Mallory?
Yeah. Okay.
No responsibility for
the 140
what? Do you have to let me like fill that in?
Yeah.
Right. Like, yeah. Okay. Let's hear what she says. Hold on. Right.
The 140 kids who were at Temple Israel bear no responsibility for the actions of the Netanyahu government. The attacker on the mosque in Texas, the parishioners there bear no responsibility for any of the actions of Hamas. I mean, we have to be able to come together. I took to the Senate floor shortly after the 2023 attacks here in Michigan, and I said my greatest fear as I watched the war begin was that the actions in the Middle East will tear us apart at home.
Yeah.
And that's still my greatest fear. So
that was Rafat al-Hariri's greatest fear
first of all, we have to keep the door open. That is something that
I heard his last words were,
so well.
"Don't turn on each other, Mr. Ganders."
I couldn't believe that. I mean, yeah, that's the greatest fear. It's not like the amputation capital of the world. It's not a genocide. It's
it's the same thing with the school children in Iran who were killed. they were killed, and they were all shouting "Vote blue, no matter who."
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And they just wanted to let everyone know, you got to vote Democrat, or else this is just going to continue.
Yeah.
And I do feel.
Let me workshop a play on words.
Sure.
You know the Jewish phrase, "May their memory be for a blessing."
Yeah, no, not for why do you make it
you added
like
you're
like a salesman, like
no, that is no. I'm telling you, that's literally.
I thought it's may their memory be a blessing.
A blessing. No, it's actually for a blessing.
Okay.
In the sense of may the like. There's a sort of liturgical meaning. That's the literal translation.
May it be used for.
It's fine, but either one. But
look at that. See,
may their memory.
I always defer to Daniel. Daniel knows more about this shit than I do. He just knows.
Yeah, no, I believe
except
this is
you
true.
make
Anyway,
it sound like they're haggling, May their memory be for a blessing. I'll give you a memory for a blessing. Okay.
Look, none of us are yeshiva students here, but this is not the point of my pun. Yeah. May the memory of those killed in Gaza be a dressing, which is to say, just like a light gauze covering on the wound of my conscience.
Right.
Like, may it be a. Yes. May it be a nice soft bandage for the moral rot in my soul.
Right.
Yeah.
Fuckers.
Yeah. It truly.
Also, speaking of not saving lives, you know who didn't save a life? Matt Bernstein didn't save Mallory McMorrow's life.
That's right.
We were actually going to have him on earlier, but it was but we'll have him on another time. Yeah.
Oh, Matt couldn't do it, so let me get the lesser Matt.
No, you guys. No. You guys were
get Matt
already
Lee.
booked. No.
Let me get the loser.
Well,
Matt.
actually, kind of yes and no. Anyway,
Matt Lieb and Daniel Matt A.
Oh, that's funny. You thought you were gonna. He was trying to auto tune, but it didn't work, right? Well, what's it? You have a
Can't
video
get it to work anymore.
that you wanted us to look at, Daniel.
What's that? Oh yeah.
You want to set up this video?
Yeah, sure. So Robbie Hoffman, who I don't really know Robbie's heart of hearts when it's political. Yes. I do get the sense that Robbie has her heart in the right place, and castmates and friends with Poppy Lou, who's been very and Hannah Einbinder, who've been very vocal.
That's right.
Robbie grew up in an Orthodox Jewish family in Brooklyn and Montreal, which is two cities I've lived in. So I also think Robbie is just one of the funniest comedians I've ever seen in a long time. Like Borscht Belt comeback. And she was interviewed by the same New York Times smarm merchant that interviewed Tucker Carlson in his kitchen.
Oh, yeah.
I forget the woman's name. And there's a clip of her talking about anti-Semitism. And Lee Kern, I saw this because Lee Kern quote tweeted it, and I wanted to
if
show
you don't
it
know who Lee Kern is,
partly so that Matt could do his Lee Kern voice.
Yeah, Lee Kern is a British I don't want to say comic because I don't think he does stand up. If he does, I don't know.
Didn't he help write
He's one of the 9 writers of Borat 2.
Right.
And for some reason Borat 2 was nominated for best screenplay, which is kind of like nominating Jackass for best screenplay.
Yeah, that's really crazy.
So he has been incredibly vocal pro-Israel since October 7th. And
he's like
I wish
Michael
Throw the
Rappaport?
Jew Down the Well had been nominated for best original song.
I know.
Throw the Jew Down the Well, and then Mel Gibson could have presented the award and would have had to have read out the name of it on stage. That would have been really clippable.
Yes.
Okay.
But yes.
So okay. So
watch
we're
Robbie.
about to see Robbie. Okay.
Let's see Robbie, and then we'll read what Lee said.
Sorry, Katie. What?
CO5, I believe.
Oh.
Yeah, CO5.
Apologies.
Kind of like how I feel about anti-Semitism. Like, anti-Semitism is bad. I don't want anti-Semitism. I get that. But is it the worst thing? No. To me right now, it's not, especially living in a country where there's massive anti-Mexican sentiment, and Mexican people are currently being rounded up, are made to fear that they're going to be rounded up. So sorry if I'm not screaming as much about anti-Semitism as you want me to. Right now, I have bigger focuses on some of my neighbors that are going through horrendous anti-Mexican sentiment. So yes, it's bad, but I'm not such a person that thinks, oh, I'm going to live a life free of any problem.
Okay,
All right.
so first of all, it's so great. Well, I loved how it sounded like a bit at first. She's
Yeah.
like, "It's
Yeah, I
bad.
know.
Do I want it? I don't want it." But
Is it that
is it the worst thing?
Yeah, it's the
No,
worst thing. Yeah.
like that's
I know.
very funny. That
it
could have
was
been,
right,
but
'cause
she
we-
was being completely sincere.
I know. What she meant to, she didn't mean is it inherently not the
No.
worst thing.
Is
She
it the
meant
the most pressing
given
problem?
what other problems, right? But it's I really loved it at first as a bit, like it's not so bad,
Right.
whatever. It's
There's
just
no
anti-Semitism. Yeah.
anti-Semitism in the United States.
Yeah.
No,
Okay, so what this led? Who did this upset? Whom did this
Lee
upset?
Kern.
Okay.
Lee Kern.
Let's see. Do we have the response from him?
Yeah, there should be a screenshot I sent you, or at least I sent you the tweet, which you can screenshot and put on the screen.
Yeah, and if not that, I can just guess.
No, you can't
Okay.
guess
Oh,
the
all right.
wonders of this wording.
I feel like we should show Lee Kern though first, but like I feel like we need to see what he looks like.
Picture an ugly
Can
bald.
you zoom in on that?
An
so we
ugly
can't
bald
spread
man.
anymore?
Yeah, just picture
So, like up.
yeah, this is the best way to look at him.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fuck
Yeah.
Hamas in his on his t-shirt.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and he's wearing a hat, because shame, self-hatred, all the reasons that you would wear a hat. I say if you're bald, just be bald, man.
Yeah.
No, everyone's cool.
Bald
with
is
it.
beautiful.
Bald is beautiful. You don't have to fucking.
Oh, actually, now I know why he's such a Zionist, because being really pro-Israel lets you do stuff like this. Hold on.
Yeah.
And if you don't like being bald, hold on.
Yeah, being pro-Israel lets you wear a kippah. Is that what you're gonna do?
No,
I was like, you
no.
can be
No,
anti-Zionist
I
and wear a
was gonna
kippah
say
over your
that,
bald spot.
But no, it lets you do. Sometimes you get to do stuff like this.
I'm very excited for what this is.
Mhm.
Yeah.
There you go.
You get to look like a literal dickhead.
Yeah, and you get to wear a helmet to cover up your bald head.
You look like you get to look like one of the Imperial sub commanders that Darth Vader force
Yeah, it
chokes
does
first.
actually. Also, what it looks like some weird optical illusion. Like it looks like the
I
hole
find your lack
behind
of
him,
hair disturbing,
like-
Commander.
Like it looks like he's about to take that and put it on his head. You know
I
what
mean,
The
I
hole
don't know what
behind
the.
him?
Well, I'm not sure what this hole is that
Yeah,
all these
I
other
know.
Israelis
Is that
are
a
going
Hamas
into,
tunnel?
but he looks like he's about to fuck it with his fucking dickhead.
It's a mock Hamas tunnel. It's
Oh,
stage.
yes, yeah. It's pretty. This is when they were doing the PR shit
It's
where
a
they would.
Mahmas tunnel.
Yes.
So okay, so now that we know what he looks like, now you can let's hear what he had to say about this.
Sure. And I feel like I should read it with my
Oh,
perfect
absolutely.
British accent.
That's the whole point.
Oh, have you ever seen a Jew so crumpled and masochistic as this? Yeah, whose self-sense worth is so degraded, isn't it? Whose pride and dignity has been so eviscerated? A pick-me Jew of the highest order, a squalid scavenger of approval and acceptance, a worthless wretch who has had to recontextualize their abuse as a noble.
You just misgendered her. No, it's she's talked about this on
Their
stage.
abuse.
Oh, that's great. Was that his attempt to?
No. I think he
No.
was just using they in the.
Yeah.
In the
Okay.
the standard. I'm just joking.
A worthless wretch who has had to recontextualize their abuse as a noble choice they've made for martyrdom and voluntary self-effacement. You what? And that's before we put aside the utter crap she's talking here. Her ignorance of the murderous anti-Semitism that is killing Jews in Israel and around the world, and which is manufacturing coalitions of Jew hate unseen since the Second World War. Thank you.
Oh my god, that was
Nicely done.
so good. I'm just gonna have you
I
read
mean,
like the phone
like,
book. or
have you
something
ever
now.
seen a Jew so crumpled? It says "crumples the clown."
Yeah.
Yeah.
What does that even mean? Crumpled. Yeah.
I mean, there's this thing with a lot of Zionists where they truly look at themselves as rather than what they actually look at like to the rest of us, which is just like Jewish Klansmen. They look at themselves as like brave, Maccabean warriors of ancient Israel, fighting for their people and their personhood and their state and their kingdom and all that stuff. But to the rest of us, you just look like a Klansman who's just like grasping onto this idea with all your might that yes, we are better than others and we deserve more than others, and anyone who goes against us is going who is from our tribe, anyone who is a Jew going against us is doing it because they are this weak, spineless little crumpled freak, this squealing little gerbil who's just like, please love me, Gentiles. Like that's the look that they think that's what they think we all look like. But in truth, we're just looking at people who are just wearing a Klan's hood, and just being like, you're a goddamn race traitor.
That's right.
That's
and
all
Robbie,
they're doing.
and I think probably Robbie gets his goat as well, because she's the true. I mean, I'm not. Again, I don't. Her politics haven't been explicit enough for my liking, but she certainly hasn't said anything that's raised massive alarms for me either. And I get the sense that her heart's in the right place. But I think her cadence, her Yiddish, very diasporic cadence and demeanor and vibe, I think is bound to piss a Zionist off, because that's who Lee Kern could have been. I mean, there's a proud tradition of Yiddishkeit in Britain.
In Britain too,
right, and in England and all over, and so someone like Robbie, who's like explicitly Jewish, couldn't be more Jewy. She's not just Jewish, she's Jewy, and yet her Jewiness leads her to think about her non-Jewish neighbors before she's going to think about how to inflate the limp balloon of anti-Semitism panic.
The limp circumcised balloon of anti-Semitism panic. But it's
also not falling for the narcissism trap. And I think that's the trap that a lot of people, it's very easy to fall for, especially post October 7th. And I saw it everywhere. I still see it everywhere with a lot of people who I once, admired, or people who I was once friendly with, where they were so focused on themselves and anti-Semitism as a vehicle for their own, persecution complex and their own sort of like ego tripping, that they truly could not look at Palestinians' problems as anything other than at best equivalent to their own, which was totally insane to the rest of us who have like a conscience and a sense of scale. So she is, in that interview, she's shaking off that narcissism and just going like, yes, anti-Semitism is bad, but we're kidding ourselves and we think it's the worst thing that's happening right now, and especially when you compare it to the
people
ICE
being
raids.
rounded up and deported.
But
absolutely. And it might have something to do with the fact that she grew up poor. She grew up on welfare.
With
10 siblings.
But she also, it's also funny because it's like there's so much butch like cosplay in Zionism, and the irony is that like it's actually much more secure and butch to like feel safe enough to care about other people instead of just your own, like being such a whiny bitch. And that's what's so weird and uncomfortable for these people, is that they simultaneously are like whiny bitches and also like trying to project their like that they're fearless. It's a very, I think their insides are there's a bunch of mishigas going on in there.
Well, it's very WWE sort of villain coded, like a good wrestling federation would come up with a villain who's like the most macho, confident talking, smack talking, whatever, but is the most precious little prissy Polly Prissy Pants, and gets their feel and can't stop listing off the litany of crimes against them, and it's an excellent character.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's called Crumples the Clown. Well, I wanted to, because we were talking about Haley Stevens, you want to see some moments from this debate that we missed?
Sure. There was a debate?
Yeah, there's a debate tonight, actually.
There's a debate tonight?
There was, with
hell yeah, let's do it. Breaking news to me. This is what happens when you're me and you don't actually.
No, I didn't know until I was looking for
Okay.
something during the show. Yeah.
I just learn about stuff and I go, all right, wow.
Breaking news to answer is, why has she allowed $40 million of outside spending, the bulk of it coming from AIPAC,
She's really appealing.
to come into this race?
Yeah,
it's going to be hard for him.
Netanyahu is attacking her to actually attack her. I think he's.
Oh, look at that face.
I don't.
Netanyahu is attacking
Kind
her
of
to actually
toad-coated,
attack her.
bro.
I think he's attacking her.
I'm sorry.
To try
I
and steer away
don't
the
mean to
stink
do that.
of
I don't
how
like
staunchly
being an
she
appearance
stands for
person,
their
but-
policy. So let's take that opportunity. Explain what you've
She
given
look
away
like-
for.
That wasn't a duck face. That was
AIPAC
like a
support in
platypus
this race.
face.
You look like you're making a fool.
It's called plat face.
Plat face, yeah. Actually, I don't know about plat right now. We probably don't want to go
right
there.
as I said that, yeah.
That's true. No more plats.
30 seconds to wrap up.
No one owns my vote and no one owns my policies. Anyone who is
chewing
contributing
gum.
to my Senate campaign is doing so because of my proven record of fighting for Michigan. What I did when I served as chief of staff on the U.S. Auto Rescue, saving 200,000 Michigan jobs, and what I have done to get the CHIPS and Science Act passed and signed into law. What my opponent needs to answer is, why is the GOP spending thousands of dollars to prop up his campaign, saying that he will make Mike Rogers the next U.S. Senator?
All right, we're going to move on.
Because they're racist, probably. And they think you're very close to a Republican. I mean, yeah, okay.
Probably for the same reason that the Democratic Party pushed so hard to get Trump to be the Republican nominee.
It's called the Pied Piper strategy, and it always fails. So don't worry about it.
It's called listening to the exact same advisors and consultant class that got us in the situation we are in now. Maybe we should stop listening to them, and that's what people are realizing, and that's why. Good luck.
We got another clip.
I love
TV by organizations like the Center for Democratic Priorities, which, by the way, didn't exist until it started to run ads for my opponent, like the United Democratic Progressives, which, by the way, is a front for AIPAC.
They're all
like
AIPAC
Forward,
fronts.
which bought airline tickets for my opponent, for her mother and herself, to go to Portugal. I don't know what they talked about. I don't know what they did. So if we want to talk about lies, I think it's really important for us to understand who's paying for them and what was said on the back end to allow them to be told. Because $40 million.
Wait, you guys, you know what? I just realized that whole thing was a setup. I think I'm not even doing like a funny, huh? Because I just look for this on Twitter. I was looking for something on Twitter.
Yeah.
And Neera Tanden.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so Neera Tanden. Wow, this is interesting. Okay, this is very interesting. Okay, who's Andrew Bates NC? All right, I don't know who he is. But he tweeted out that clip that we just saw of Dana Bash and Netanyahu, right? So he tweets that. Then what happens is this. Hold on. Here, Brad,
I know where we're going with this.
I didn't. Yeah. Okay. This is okay. I just sent this to you, Brad. And then apparently, see, Hasan wrote. Well. Okay. Show that you want me to just do it. Let me just do a screen share, Brad. I think that's faster. Okay. Because I have a bunch of them open up in hold on a second. Okay. So this is really interesting. So hold on one second.
Producer Adam, just cut all this out. I'm just kidding.
Okay.
That's what we say when we.
Oh yeah, we should have collaborated on this.
That's right. Although you guys are live streaming, I guess you can't cut.
No, you can. Oh, okay. So, okay, here Netanyahu. Okay, so what happens is Neera Tanden clips this clip, right? Now we just thought it was funny because it was like, oh, imagine what it would look like if like Dana Bash were honest and had integrity and was like, actually, this person is not an anti-Semite.
Yes.
Okay. But she means, no, this person is not an anti-Zionist. Here, Netanyahu, who hopefully will lose his jab, here attacks Haley from Michigan for stating the obvious fact that Netanyahu is making Jews in America and the world less safe.
Yes, baby.
Well,
yes.
Get your money back for that photo op that you took with him.
Right.
And she quotes out the clip that we just saw. So coincidentally, now someone's going to accuse me of faking it because I have two things in a row, but that's just how Twitter works. So Hasan writes, given that Haley Stevens brought this attack up twice on the debate stage, even though she's gotten 34 million from AIPAC and other PACs, I'm beginning to suspect this moment was coordinated.
Yes, absolutely.
Very good.
And then Adam Johnson, friend of the shows, hey Siri, pull up the fakest thing of all time.
Yes.
So that's what that was.
Yeah, that's 100%
Okay.
correct.
Well, this is
Well,
what we've
that's
been. This is what we've been
interesting.
tracking and
Yes.
predicting. That, like
Yes,
I was
that
saying
it's
on the last
now-
episode,
it's
I
gonna.
said
This
that-
is. I had a question actually for the AIPAC trackers that we didn't get to, which is like, how can we be smart about people knowing that AIPAC is toxic and they're going to like performatively turn
That's
their backs
exactly
on it,
right.
but not change their policies.
I mean,
And
it'll
this
be a
is
new
it.
J Street coded AIPAC
Yes.
lobbying where they teach Democratic lawmakers how to sound confrontational and
Yes.
adversarial on Israel without being that at all.
Yes, exactly. Wow.
Right.
We in real time just discovered something.
Now, on the one hand, fuck my life. On the other hand, hallelujah, joy to
Yeah,
the world.
it's
Look where we're
hallelujah,
at.
but now we have to. Yeah, it's
Yes.
a sign of
Look
victory,
what they
but we
need to
also
do
have
now.
to.
Yes.
Well, you know what else? Another thing that we need to stay tuned for is that
Mm-hmm.
Rahm Emanuel here. Brad, can we take a look at this? Hold on. Okay.
Oh, yes. Oh, I've been wanting to watch this. I have it saved. This is Rahm Emanuel at Tel Aviv University talking about what
He's not. Is he there yet? He's at.
or he's going
He's
to
giving
Tel
us
Aviv.
a preview. Yes,
Yes.
tomorrow and not here. So
He's doing a trailer for
Yeah,
him
I know, it's
talking
a
at Tel
teaser.
Aviv University about the
teaser.
future of Israel and the Democratic Party. And it'll be very interesting to see how they thread this Hasbara needle, because
Yeah,
it is going to be
exactly.
the future of Hasbara.
Want me? I have it, Brad. You want me to show it?
Thursday morning, I'll be addressing the U.S.
Wait,
Israel
hold on. No,
alliance.
I want to see the tweet
We're-
for a second.
Yeah.
Let's just show this in all its glory. And then tomorrow at 9:30 a.m. ET at Tel Aviv University, I'll lay out where I believe the U.S.-Israel relationship
That's Entebbe time.
here. I didn't come to flatter anyone. I came because real friends tell each other hard truths, and tomorrow I will. Stay tuned. Okay, so now let's play it.
Oh, great.
Let's play the
Good
again.
morning.
This isn't the speech.
I'll
This
be
is-
addressing the U.S.-Israel alliance, where it is and where it must go. Prime Minister Netanyahu has led Israel, the
Netanyahu.
U.S.-Israel alliance, into a dead end. It's at a tipping point. The status quo is no longer sustainable. We need a path for Palestinian self-determination and sovereignty, and a path for Israel's security.
Wow.
I lay
Fresh
out
new
specific
ideas. Who
about
is this
peace
young
process,
whippersnapper?
economic integration, and making sure that this region, the Mideast, is more stable and more secure.
He
and
has to
serves
start saying
America's
West Asia if he wants to seem like a woke
That's right, baby.
AZ.
Mena. He's got
I'll
to
be
call
providing
it
you the
Mena.
speech so you can read it, the opportunity to link and watch the speech and the questions at the university, and a direction that also knows and recognizes what we're doing today is not working.
What are we doing today,
And the
Ram?
ideas and
Like
the
I
grit to
constantly
change direction
these
no
fucking
longer is
lying.
sustainable what the Prime Minister has done for the alliance.
The
We
alliance.
need new conditions.
Wait, what's
new
the
requirements,
alliance?
And most importantly,
Yo, tell me about that alliance, though.
I think you know what this is. I
more of an
think.
alloy.
Wait, listen, ready? Well, alloy exactly because they're doing this merger bill. I think.
Yes.
Remember
Kucinich.
Netanyahu?
Dennis Kucinich was just on Tucker Carlson talking
He was
about
on the
this.
Katie Halper show before
Wow, well,
before
that's-
Tucker Carlson.
What?
There was Katie
You know what,
Halper.
Daniel?
Wow.
It was
Guilt
Friday.
by
Watching Katie
guilt by
show.
Yes,
association.
no, but listen, ready? No,
But he was
listen.
on like today, I'm saying.
He was on my show Friday.
Oh, really?
Yes, it's the Katie Halper show bump. What do you think got him onto Tucker? No,
Damn,
but
dude. We
here's
gotta
the
get
thing.
we gotta get better guests.
Here's the thing.
We got to get Kucinich for sure.
I'll intro you. You want me to intro you?
Nah, we're too
Yes.
stupid.
Fuck
I mean,
yes.
yes.
No, we're
Okay.
not.
Sorry, you're
All
right.
right.
He's
Don't
great.
listen
All
to
right.
me. This is why we
But
don't pick good guests.
listen, ready? So they are trying to do this thing. I was actually just talking to Nate about this earlier. That the merger, they're trying to do this merger, and this talking point is like even Laura Loomer. Laura Loomer is totally insane. She's like, we need to cut like the United States needs to stop holding Israel back. Like, let's sever the relationship, because we're such a restraining force.
They're so restrained.
But the thing is that they are trying to say, like Netanyahu talked about this in an interview with what's his name, Sergeant Garrett, Major Garrett. I always confuse like what position he is, Colonel Garrett, Major Garrett. He said something about a partnership and like not paying for weapons anymore. And I think this is a way for people to pretend to be America first, right? Like we're not gonna wait. Am I doing it backwards? Basically, they want it to be a partnership instead of.
Katie, do you want a little extra time to do your book report? Do you want to put it in? Do you want to hand it in?
No, but I think I just contradicted myself because I thought that they were. Wait, no, they're trying to do. Wait, hold on.
Katie's trying to think
Hold
of
on.
the things she thought.
All right.
Sorry.
Must have been a new
Hold on.
thought.
They are partner, not client. So they're
Yes.
trying to say that it's a little contradictory, right? And that's the kind of the point, because there's so much obfuscation. But one of the new talking points is that we should be selling them weapons, not giving them weapons.
Right.
But is that going to be consistent with the partnership? I wonder, the merger.
Well, but let's be clear about what this merger is, because I was shocked when I heard
You
Kucinich describe it.
Yeah. Okay. Tell us. I mean, I know, but I'll let you summarize it.
Well, I actually like you did, because you spoke to the guy, but from what I understood, correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
We're talking about merging the two armies, the two militaries, complete intelligence sharing.
Right.
Israel has discretion over appropriations, over the US's trillion now dollar war budget, and complete and total coordination. Am I right about this? Like, how far does it go? Is there any limit on it?
There's no duplication, which was something that he said, and I asked him about. I asked him about what exactly made this new, because there is a lot of mergers that already exist, but I think there's will be even less oversight. And the big thing that he was very scared of is the biotech stuff.
Yes, for sure. And inside, and it's also folded into a 1,000-page bill. It's another one of these mega bills, and it's just in there somewhere. And they changed the rules, so it's just up or down. There's no committee. There's no points of order. There's no subcommittees. Nothing. Like, they're really ramming it through.
Right. I mean, from what I can tell, and I of course know everything about it. I'm just letting you guys talk and say other things. From what I understand, it just makes explicit what was at this point fundamentally implicit. It does do concrete things as well, but at this point, there's no more daylight now. Once this bill is passed, which I believe has been passed. Am I wrong about that?
No, it hasn't been passed yet.
It has not been passed yet.
No, Congress is out for
it's the
until the 13th.
Yeah. It's the National Defense something bill.
Authorization Act.
Authorization Act. Yeah. And it's just it ends the daylight between the United States and Israel's militaries, which it's a terrible thing, of course. It is also just making something explicit, which at this point has been fairly implied for a long time, in terms of the way in which the United States and Israel's military industrial complexes seem to be one and the same. And so much in the way that Trump just says the quiet part out loud, the bill seems to me to be the quiet part out loud. That's what it seems, but of course, when written into law, it makes trying to remove those those hooks, between the United States and Israel, it makes it all the more impossible, or much harder, which is, I think the really frightening part of it.
And if they want to do it out loud, they should open the books, let their constituents know they're doing this, and let the American people have their say. They're doing the quiet part out loud very quietly.
Yeah, sure.
Yes.
Yeah,
In fact, I'm going to show some. We have some shorts from this, because we Patreon some of this. This is actually a good way to tease that Patreon. But if you watched it live, you were in luck, because you got to see this entire thing with Dennis. But actually, here, Brad, I'm gonna send you some right now, some little shorts from StreamYard.
Just real quick, Katie, I have about 8 more minutes.
Okay.
Then I got to put my daughter.
All right.
down.
You know what? Then I won't use you as a bouncing, as like a, what's the expression?
Sounding board.
Sounding board for Dennis Kucinich. But
Did someone say soundboard?
Oh yeah, bitch. Crazy Jews. Oh yeah, I'm singing.
All right. Why don't you?
You're emotionally damaged.
How about this? Why don't you, after Matt goes, Daniel, we can watch some of these shorts. That'll be really fun. You'll be
sure,
my
I'm the short one.
Yeah, it's short king.
It'd be great.
King,
if Daniel was just like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I have to leave in 8 minutes too, because I don't want to be on anymore."
Yeah, because I want to accompany Matt to pick up.
I just want to hang out with Matt.
Yeah. Okay. So
I'm
Brad,
usually Matt usually
sending you.
FaceTimes me, and so I can read his daughter a bedtime story.
That's right. It's true.
She prefers my voice.
Your voice is nicer though. It is.
Good night. Good night, Moon.
Have you ever heard him
Good night,
read?
Spoon.
Yeah. Wait, what? I'm getting horny.
Good night, cow that jumped over the moon.
Do you really read kids' books?
No, but he could.
Oh, it could, yeah. Okay. Well, Matt, in the 6 minutes you have left, what would you like to talk about?
Oh, well, there's a lot of things we could. Where are you going?
You want to talk about what's happening at the Ice House in Pasadena this Saturday?
Oh, yes. I like how she asked me.
What I want to talk about and then left. Oh, a dog.
Because I wanted to bring my baby. I think you're the only one with a baby. We get to talk about the baby.
We all got babies.
Hey, Bucky.
One thing I want to talk about is how I will be at the Ice House in Pasadena on July 11th. That's this Saturday at 8 p.m.
It's my birthday.
Happy birthday, Katie. I didn't
7-Eleven, baby.
Yeah, 7-Eleven. That really is an awesome birthday. What a cute dog. I really want.
He's so cute.
I want to kiss that dog.
I bring Bodhi, but she's not with me right now. My mom has her some.
But yeah, so if you are someone who is in the LA area, Pasadena area, come to the Ice House on July 11th at 8 p.m. It's going to be really fun. Yeah, what's the last thing I can talk about before I have to leave in 6 minutes is I guess I could talk about how cute your dog is.
I am really cute, right? Oh, let's show the campaign ad that just dropped.
Oh yeah, show me the campaign.
Haley Stevens campaign merch. You guys.
Oh, she got new merch?
Yeah, let's take a look at this.
Finally, new merch. Merch drop.
Hey, I made that. That took me way too long. And for people who can't see it, it says Haley Stevens for U.S. Senate. I dream of not Jeannie, BB, and I did a pretty good job. Like
you did, honestly.
I used Canva. Canva, you really should pay for.
Canva, it really is good. I really hope it's not Israeli because I really enjoy it.
Canva. Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. It's like we're on StreamYard right now because Riverside,
Riverside isn't very good for video.
Riverside's not great for video, but it is also is an Israeli company.
Yeah.
So from the Riverside to the Seaside, we don't want to be supporting G-side.
So that's good, actually. We should
sorry.
We should be paid by StreamYard because they're getting pretty good, not so enthusiastic, low bar endorsements. Like use StreamYard : not genocidal.
Right. It's not Israeli.
Genocidal. Yeah, it's not Israeli.
StreamYard, it's not Israeli.
Yeah.
Good enough for me.
Yeah.
Even though we have a fucking random ass error every other recording.
Someone wrote Canva in Yiddish is crazy. Is that true?
What's Canva in Yiddish?
The word Canva?
Yeah.
I don't know.
He's can't.
I thought Meshuggah was crazy.
Meshuggah, yeah.
Oh, okay. I guess. Oh, they could be saying Canva is. Yeah. I don't know. Someone asked
when
Robbie.
you use Canva on a Yiddish computer, maybe it does crazy things.
Oh, yeah. Oh, Canva in Yiddish is crazy. Oh,
but yeah, that seems unlikely to me.
It creates all these. I don't know what.
This is why I don't read comments. I don't read comments because I don't want to parse what they mean.
Yeah.
Do you have to lie on both shows, Matt? Like I'm just supposed to sit here and act like you don't read comments, like you don't respond to comments.
Sometimes
after lecturing me for years that you never argue with hogs, you just go and you have a big debate bro. We call our listeners hogs, not yours. Yours are not hogs.
Wait,
you basically do it all rounded.
Yeah, the slop. Yeah.
Yeah, they're all.
But Brad says that comments are like the sun, never look directly at them.
Yeah, I
saw some interesting suns in your comments here, including a couple of super chats, some interesting views on race and Islam and
I saw a super chat that was Islamophobic, which I was like, man, that's crazy to spend $5 to do racism.
Yeah.
You can do that for free, idiot. Anyways, guys, Katie, thank you for having me on.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah, I really do love.
I like when I almost figured out that I almost unraveled a big conspiracy, but then I got it backwards. But let's you have a good night, Matt. You have fun with your kid. I'm gonna show people some of the reasons they should become Patreon supporters.
Absolutely.
Besides being able to see the full Samira Moyahedin response to Jesse Brown.
Yeah.
Before we go, speaking of Jesse Brown, I just want to say, I don't know if we should send out an APB because motherfucker hasn't tweeted literally in 9 days since he posted the supposedly
takedown
disparaging clip of me saying, I've got contempt.
Yeah.
Like he literally, like that's
Well,
not
there
like
it
him.
is. There it is.
Well, there it
Daniel.
is.
Well,
But
there
like,
it
what
is.
happened?
Dan.
Like, is he
There
okay?
it is, Dan. And
There's
you're right.
two ways to lose the debate online.
He's a Jew in Canada, so how safe can he?
That's
actually
right.
be?
Maybe he's hiding. Daniel, you ever think about that?
Yeah. You just blew his cover.
There's two
now
ways.
he has to relocate.
There's two ways to lose the debate online. One is to constantly keep posting about how you won. The other is to never show your face online ever again.
Well, Matt, you and I have this Jesse Brown connection where we both made these jokes that he took for dual challenges.
Yes, that's
Except
right.
I
I
made the
forgot
mistake.
about that. Yes, that
And
happened to you
that's
too.
how he ended up talking to me, I think, kind of accidentally, and I think he probably regrets it. Well, look, he's not the first Toronto would-be bar spitter to lose to lose a rap battle in the last few years.
That's right.
All right. Thanks, Matt.
Bye, Matt.
Bye. Love you, Matt. All right. Now let's look at the coup. The coos is loose. Here's Kucinich. Let's
The coos is loose.
Let's take a listen to what he had to say about this NDA thing.
And wait, there's one other thing. Biotech is included.
This is the big difference.
Biotechnology is included, which means
Does he mean cherry tomato?
research on pathogens. Okay. Now, keep in mind, Israel never joined the Biological Weapons Convention, so they don't have any obligation here. So we bring them in, and they'll have access to the development of bioweapons. Now, if they're inside and these crimes are committed, there is no way the U.S.
It stops right there. Wow. I didn't even mean to do that as such a tease. Okay, let's see a little bit
is that
next.
this creates a formal structure. The other ones were agreements here and there that provided for the kind of cooperation, as malevolent as it may be at the moment. This is a formal structure, and it has long-term implications. It can't be changed really, because they're creating an executive assistant who actually is going to have powers that would be on the equal to the Secretary of Defense. And if you're talking about a technology transfer, I mean, there are concerns that sensitive U.S. technology could be exposed or re-exported through Israeli channels.
There you go.
There's procurement issues here that Israeli origin technologies might gain statutory preference inside U.S. acquisition pathways. This would put U.S. competitors at a disadvantage. There's counterintelligence exposure here. You have AI. There's so many areas that they're talking about formally integrating. This isn't just, well, we'll work on this or that. No, this is a formal integration of AI, of cyber, of quantum technologies, of electronic warfare, of missile defense, of space link technologies.
SLT.
What could go wrong?
What could go wrong? Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Okay.
They attached. They passed. They did not permit a debate in the committee about the Massey Kana amendment because they didn't even include it in the list of amendments that would even be considered. They had a list, a preconceived
Someone else needs to be
list
watching
of
us,
amendments,
Daniel, watching
which
this.
they then attached to the bill, made an order with the rule, and sent
The
it
human
to the
Sentai
floor
pod.
in combination with the SAVE Act. 14 Republicans, all the Democrats voted against it. The rule went down. Now, what happens if the rule goes down? They can't get to the bill. Remember, you cannot pass a bill.
Oh yeah, he showed us how
unless it has a rule.
I was worried that something
that's
confidential was
approved.
written on that.
So once the rule's approved, then we get to the bill. They couldn't get to the bill. So what happened? The speaker sent everybody home, and they're coming back on July the 13th. That week, I will promise you that they'll have another meeting of the Rules Committee.
July 13th, that's coming up.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so yeah.
I just got to run to the bathroom. Can you hang on with that?
Formally
Yeah, sure.
integrates
watch Dennis shorts
functions
the whole
of
night.
the U.S. military, AI, quantum
Yeah, I missed the Game of Thrones
technology,
live watch party, so
cyber
this is nice to be a
technology,
part of this
biotech,
thrilling.
missile and air defense, the space program, counter drone systems, anti-tunneling, directed energy, network integration, data integration. The infrastructure of the wars of the future, okay? And so it would integrate the U.S. and Israeli as one unit, eliminating duplications.
This is important, duplications.
Now, this is a merger. There's no other way to put it. And as such, we put our country into jeopardy. Our sovereignty is in jeopardy. Israel, it assumes that we have the same objectives that Israel has.
Yeah.
So we'll be dragged into more wars by Israel. I mentioned it earlier. It won't be too long before we're at war with Turkey and Egypt, and because that's what Israel wants as part of this Zionist ambition for an expansion.
So yeah, very scary stuff, and you
That
definitely
section
want to. Sorry. You would definitely want to join the Patreon for that, but also
I will listen to this in the car tomorrow.
Great. Yes. Okay. So here is, I want to read some funny comments from someone. Cloud, I don't want to blow up their spot. Cloud, let us know in the comments if you want me to tell people who you really are. Cloud, it's a very, your photo kind of gives it away. This is Cloud, who's been on the show.
This is the person who took a dig at my brother for being short.
Not a dig. Hold on. So she writes, it's a very small niche of nerds that enjoy Kucinich.
It's a Kucinich.
It's a Kucinich. Yeah,
Come on, it was right there.
That was really good.
It's a Kucinich niche.
Then Katieception. Okay, good. But I don't think this was a dig. Hold on. Daniel, I met your bro last week. I'm convinced y'all are mountain people. I felt tall around him, and that never happens except when I'm back home on the Andes.
Of course, she's saying
you think
he's
that's
short.
A dig? Yeah,
because in the Andes,
Daniel, I understand. You don't have to explain the physics of it or the height thing. But
so,
I
Katie,
think
there's a place called Peru, and there's some mountains in Peru.
I think she's appreciative of it. You guys should
that's fine. That's fine.
Short kings.
But
short Incan kings.
But do you know how Aaron feels about his height? Have you ever asked him?
I know, and I don't think
that's all I'm going to say about it.
No, he talks about short kings on Useful Idiots. He appreciates a short king. Yeah.
Okay. Well, good. Okay, cool.
But even if someone is self-loathing and they say something about that doesn't make it a dig.
No, that's true. I've got no problem being the height I am.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm just,
Yeah.
I'm just protective of my little brother.
Yeah. Well, anything else you want to talk about? This was great.
Anything else I want to talk about?
We should definitely do a Dennis Kucinich watch shorts. Oh my God. Dennis Kucinich shorts watch party. Wow.
I mean, that guy is short.
But also, but we were watching shorts.
We are watching shorts.
Yeah.
Shorties.
Yeah.
No, I can't think of anything.
Are you very?
I'm looking forward to seeing the Nakba exhibit in Winnipeg. Later this week.
Give us
any
that
Winnipeggers?
Was hilarious when that
Winnegonians, I think they're called.
Like Galwegians, people from Galway.
Yeah, or Halifax, Haligonians.
Yeah.
Winnipeggers? No, maybe it's Winnipeggers. Maybe I'm thinking of Halifax as Haligonians. Anyway, whatever. Looking forward to that exhibit.
Not to be confused with Halifax, the website Halifax.
Not to be confused with Halifax. That's correct.
I can't believe we almost fell for that whole. That was kind of cool. We saw in real time Neera Tanden. They're all coordinated. Neera Tanden was also coordinated with the sexism attacks that were coming out from AIPAC against they literally went after him. Here's an example of his sexism. He said Michelle Obama's fitness program was ineffective or underwhelming or something or exagerated.
So you're saying he called her fat.
Yeah, he called her the C word. Yeah, he called her a fat C word. Yeah, exactly.
Charlatan.
I don't get it. Did they call him that?
No, the C. I'm saying.
That was funny. Yeah. Crazy. Canva coming full circle.
Mm-hmm.
But okay, well, this was really fun. I will donate. I will put a link in to support. This is such an awkward segue. Dr. Safiya, Abu Safiya, very important. And definitely check out Bad Hasbara, and check out the Daniel debate with Jesse Brown. That I helped midwife.
You sure did. Really do appreciate it. But we didn't do it on purpose.
I lit it into existence. No, it wasn't. And I was like, oh, wow, he's going to think it was a setup.
Maybe in that way you were Jesse Brown's career's death doula.
Oh, yeah. It was a death doula, yeah. All right.
This transition.
Tell people where they can find you.
badhasbara@gmail.com is our email. Not that I don't know why I give you that here, but badhasbara.com. Most Moral Pod on Twitter, Bad Hasbara on Instagram, and I'm Daniel B. Mate in both places. That's Daniel B as in Brooklyn, Mate.
Awesome. All right, and I will. Brad, do we have any announcements? No, right? I think. Well, I will see you later, Daniel, in case I need to make any private announcements. Just me on stage, private with my viewers.
Great.
Okay.
I'll peace out.
Thanks, Daniel. All right, that was fun. Guys, if you are watching this live, you're in luck. I think some of this may be Patreons. What do you think, Brad? And definitely, we're going to definitely have. There may be some funny Patreon stuff with Matt and Daniel, but I want to keep the Dennis watch party because that was great. I'm throwing you on. Sorry, Brad.
Hey, Katie.
Hey, Brad.
Sorry, I was busy doing other things.
What were you doing? This is a setup. That was a pretty funny setup, the near tandem thing in real time. Oh, that's good.
Yeah, I wasn't finished with it yet, but
okay, yeah.
I was hoping to get it done in time.
It has to be chocolate milk because then it's brown. Like milk, it's a milk.
Oh,
yeah.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
But I thought, don't you like the thing I made? The little I Dream of Dreamy thing. I thought you'd like it.
Yeah, that's clever. The word genie works well. Just
Yeah.
With the E at the end.
Yeah.
BB genie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, because it's I.
Right.
Yeah. Well, we didn't get any super chats that I really feel comfortable reading. But
you should make one for Mitch McConnell. I did make something for Mitch McConnell.
I feel like we also get more members when we don't push the membership. It's kind of funny. But let me read the recent Patreons that we got.
Yes.
Okay. 1 second. All right. What is it? Patreon meet. And please do subscribe, guys. We don't want you to miss any of these cool streams. Okay, what's the last day when did we last stream? Oh, we got a lot.
The 3rd, I believe.
Okay, the 3rd. So, all right. Thank you, Gray Wolf, Igo, Al, Pablo, Flying. I think we read these, but Hawk, Blaz, Donald, Andre, Christopher, Mohammed, Benjamin, Johanna, Senile Kid, Ella, Magdalena, Ame, Viva, Benedict, Alex, Hockey, Paul, Lisa, Beatrice, Tara, Sarah, Elle, and Gabriel. Thank you so much.
Thank you so very, very, very much.
We literally could not do this without your support, quite literally.
And this was quite some time ago. When did I make this? 2018.
What?
Just in reply to that comment saying you should make one of Mitch McConnell.
Oh, let me see.
That was what I made in 2018.
Wait, hold on. I went to another window to read. Oh, that's cute. What is that?
He's just a sad baby with a melted ice cream cone.
Someone said, Katie, put on your glasses, but I don't need, I guess I need to get them fixed again.
Wait,
checked again. No, checked.
I was not aware that you have glasses, but I.
No, I don't need glasses. Checked again. My eyes checked again.
Well, so you might need.
Yeah,
glasses.
it's true. Yeah,
we don't know.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. I will definitely put in a link. Sunny writes, thank you, Katie, Halper, and Brad, for shedding light upon the unlawfully detained Dr. Hussam Abu Safiya and the Palestinian hostages held in Israeli prisons without charges. Wonderful guest, Dr. Ahmad. Yeah, I mean, I just can't stand how awful people are. I don't want to leave on that note. You know what? Because I was just a downer note. I have to do something. Hold on. Give me 1 second. I have to just show them.
Quick, get a dog. Hey, everybody. I need to, I'm going to do my best on this. Because I wasn't kidding when Katie said, hey, could you do this? Oh, she is getting a dog. Okay. But
Look,
we can totally set it up, that kind of like real time
good.
Emoji heap, hide and seek type thing that Matt was doing. We can
wait, listen to this. Bucky, Bucky, I wanted to play your little drum instrument.
Well, he doesn't, Jesus Christ.
Oh, he's so cute.
He can't be controlled.
No, it can't be. All right. And he does this thing where he pulls, he's like,
oh yeah.
He gets so excited, right, Bucks?
Bodhi does that too, but you can't.
Not really.
They don't do it. They don't.
No,
do
she
it.
just doesn't move. She won't let you.
I mean, if
pull
you
her.
put the mouth.
The
mic, you get some interesting.
Yeah.
sounds.
Oh yeah, you did something with that. We need to do that. Yeah.
But they don't do it on demand.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. All right. Well, this was a really fun stream. Thank you, Brad, so much. Thank you, Nate. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Phantom Sponsor, for the clip. Thank you to all the guests. Oh, thank you for the super sticker. Yay, from Tehran. And we will see you Friday. It's going to be a great show. We will see you Friday. And thanks, everyone. And again, to support the show, to get bonus content, to see all of John Mearsheimer and Yanis Varoufakis. And all of Dennis Kucinich talking about the merger. Go to patreon.com/The Katie Halper Show. Again, that's patreon.com/The Katie Halper Show, or become YouTube members.
Yeah, we dropped a bunch for the members and Patreon supporters in the last week.
Yeah, there's gold. There's gold. Yeah. Yeah. And then let us know if you think you would like an AMA. Would you pay for an AMA?
Yeah,
like a
I can already
monthly
tell
AMA?
you the answer is going to be yes. Katie.
Yeah, especially if Brad's in it. Yeah. Yeah. And Bucky. Okay. Bye, everyone.
I did everything right and they indicted me. And I don't know what the I'm doing. Antifa!